Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi. I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
Well, before I left my campsite, I was putting out my fire, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear showed up and hugged me?
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. He likes it when people correctly put out their campfires. He's pretty big on wildfire prevention. He's just letting you know you did good with a hug. He's a hugger.
I just got a bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update!
All right, I'm going to let you go now. I've got a lot of ranger stuff to do. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
And welcome, everybody, to Logic Nation. Today is November 1st. Do you believe it? 2019. And we're going to be here live for the next 3 hours, God willing. I've got Susan Sterl, pusher of paint, poet of photography, rockette of rock and roll, Bill Whitmire, the Republican chair of Milam County, both sitting in here with me. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Pretty chilly, isn't it?
Thank God it's Friday. It's Frisky Friday.
Frisky Friday, free-for-all Friday, the whole works.
That's right.
I have a question, ladies and gentlemen. It's all good. It's all good. Who out there has a quote that people say to you that you just want to cram it back down their throats? Okay? It's all good. It's all good. Bill, don't you have one that you don't like?
No, I'm good with everything, baby. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. When people say that all the time. No, man, it's either good or it's bad, but fair enough is not. It's like, okay, I'll accept that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that one.
Susan, do you have a pet peeve when it comes to a phrase or a quote?
I can't think of one.
I'll tell you two more, too. That's the way we've always done it.
Yeah, that's that one.
And then when somebody that's older than you or has more experience says, well, it was good enough for me, and those two I really hate because that just shows complacency beyond belief, especially
the wall is there. That's right. Well, if you have a catchphrase that really makes you want to vomit, give us a call, 866-89-LOGIC, 866-895-6442. Stream us live at logicnation.us. Social media at Facebook at Logic Nation Radio, and YouTube at youtube.com/Logic Nation Radio. We have 2 new videos posted up. Well, actually, it's one, but on both locations there. If you go to Facebook at Logic Nation Radio, there's that age-old question. Does size really matter? You ask the guys the question, they give you one answer. You ask the ladies the question, they give you another answer. So to get the scoop on what's going on there, go to Facebook at Logic Nation Radio and like us there and share it, or go to YouTube at youtube.com/Logic Nation Radio. Does size really matter?
I think accuracy matters, don't you think? Accuracy.
Now the brains are going crazy.
I'm just going to sit over here in my own world.
It's all good, Bill.
Much.
Bill, it's all good. Don't worry about it. It's all right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've always done it that way, so
Today is Friday the 1st. It's the end of early voting.
Then time change is coming up this Sunday, so
And
fall back on an hour back.
The catchphrase, fall back, spring forward, right? So
That's
since
right.
we're hitting the fall, we're going to go back.
Last time it did it, I got it screwed up, and I showed up to church 2 hours early.
It's all good.
Where is everybody,
you got 2
man?
hours extra to pray, buddy.
And I've done that a couple of times, and it irritates the heck out of me because I could have been in bed for another hour sleeping. But
And I was up 2 hours early because I didn't set it backwards. I set it forwards.
Okay, also we got voting is on November 5th, next Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
And what else do we have here? I want to make sure we didn't forget anything. Early voting ends, time change. Okay, we got it. We covered our bases on that. Let me tell you what's coming up here, or give you some ideas. I mean, I've got a show highlight sheet here, but it's half done. I'll just throw some things out. Obviously, I'm going to be doing devotional quotes and announcements. California, Texas, and around the world, children are being assaulted with sex. It's disgusting. I want to cover that the first hour. Representative Gohmert, Democratic coup pushing America to a civil war. Did you hear about that one, Bill?
No, I didn't hear about that.
I got it here. He was on. Trump is like Thomas Jefferson, says Trump's daughter Ivanka. I got an article there, what she wrote. Congress approves impeachment resolution. So what does it all mean, Bill? Impeachment resolution? You got all the Republicans didn't vote for it. Two Democrats defected.
Only one Republican voted for it, and two Democrats voted against it. But
yeah, really, I thought it was zero.
I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He's the one that's it's the one that's threatened to leave the party a couple of times.
Well, he doesn't count then, does he?
I mean,
what's he?
Here's the thing.
Undecided?
Here's the thing: is Nixon impeachment inquiry vote was pretty bipartisan. You had a lot of at that time you had a lot of Democrats that actually voted against it, but you had a lot of Republicans that voted for it. And the same thing during the Clinton impeachment process. You had a lot of Democrats that voted for it, and several Republicans that didn't. But this one was, when three members of the House cross party lines. It's pretty partisan, and but I read most of it last night. I'll be honest with you, it was Halloween, and there was a Baylor football game on, so I was kind of distracted. But I did sit down during the commercials and kind of read part of it and stuff, and it's actually I think it's a little different than what was in the Nixon and the Clinton impeachment inquiry resolutions. But overall, it's got a few things that I didn't like, but overall, I think it's a little bit more fair than having hearings in private and out of the public eye. So, but they have to do something to set that up and go forward. Obviously, Nancy Pelosi thinks she's got something worth voting on now because she went ahead and held a vote to have that resolution. But I have looked at everything that's been released so far by these committees, and
I think she's exasperated. I think she's literally exasperated and has been forced into this position because, just like you said, there's nothing there.
Well, remember, she won the speakership by the slimmest of majorities, and she's got to keep everybody that voted for her happy.
That's right. And
have a minimal amount of defections because no one in history that I know of has been, at least in modern history, has been voted out of the speakership.
But she's already been.
John Boehner was probably close for a while, but he went ahead and resigned from the speaker. She resigned from Congress, and that's allowed Paul Ryan to take in. But she could very well be one of the first speakers to be voted out if she doesn't please that hard left.
Well, didn't somebody write
side.
a letter or a bill supporting that effort to get her out of her position?
There's been several times they've tried to push a vote of no confidence, and it's failed each time. But she stayed just ahead of those votes by coming out and, the last time was when she came out and had the press conference saying they were going to start an impeachment inquiry because the head of the Judicial Committee, Jerry Nadler, had said it during his committee meeting, and then people started jumping on her. Why haven't you said it yet? And so she came out and said it. Well, this latest one is, why don't we have a resolution? They've been working on this for a month, but we didn't hear anything about it until Monday. And, they pushed it through in 1 week and voted on it. So, it does set some terms. So now we have some actual terms that they'll have to follow. But is it everything that you'd want as a Republican? No. But is it better than what we had 2 days ago? Probably.
What about this issue? We'll get into it a lot more as we go through the show. But what about this issue about Pence being over there at the time of the call with the potential of supporting, supposedly, what Trump was supposedly doing with the phone call, and that could affect when it comes into the impeachment process?
Look, they're gonna push their agenda any way they can. They're gonna try to shape it any way they can. Where were you that day, Matt?
It's
exactly.
All good, man.
That's a they're gonna try to, they're gonna create these tie-ins. There's nothing right now. There's no smoking gun that ties anybody. So they've got to create something to make it look like it.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue on. Give us a call, 866-89-LOGIC. Stream us live at logicnation.us. Don't forget to check out Facebook at Facebook at Logic Nation Radio, and we'll see you on the other side.
divorce attorney Ed Laughlin.
Is your marriage on the rocks? Have you been wanting to get a divorce but just haven't found an attorney that you can afford? Well, your search for an affordable attorney is finally over. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and I've been helping Texans get fast, inexpensive, hassle-free divorces for 25 years. I offer reasonable fees and always allow my clients to pay out their fees in payments that they can afford. Call me today at 773-8399 or toll-free 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment to get started. The first visit is always free.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed Laughlin today at 1-800-492-2589 or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589 or online at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589. Let Ed help you with all your legal needs. You'll feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad in Names and Numbers.
Aaron's Gun Shop and High Cap Adventures. If you've decided to carry a handgun for self-defense, you better know what you're doing. If you don't, you better learn fast. Not only fast, but thoroughly. Aaron's Gun Shop and High Cap Adventures fills the void between a Johnny wannabe and a person who has been properly trained in the proper handling and use of a firearm. Call me, Matt Betros, at 254-697-4721 or email me at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com and set up a class or seminar to get you started on the road to proficiency with a firearm for self-defense. Go to our website, aaronsgunshop.com, and review the High Cap Adventures page. We have seminars to cover most forms of firearms training. Call 254-697-4721 or email me at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com to get more information on how to get started with your training. The time for games is over. Reality starts now. aaronsgunshop.com.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody, to Logic Nation. November 1st, 2019. Matt, your host here. And if you want to be on the show, give us a call at 866-895-6442, 866-89-LOGIC. Stream us live at logicnation.us. Check out the videos at Facebook at Logic Nation Radio. Does size really matter? Check it out. Instagram at Logic Nation Radio. Twitter at Logic Nation USA. YouTube at youtube.com/Logic Nation Radio. Bless you. And don't forget, time change Sunday. It's fall, so we're going to fall back an hour. Early voting ends today. Be sure to vote. You miss it, voting's on Tuesday the 5th. Make sure you get out to vote. Got to go out and vote. It's your civil duty to vote. Okay? Also, what's your catchphrase that you can't stand? Mine, it's all good. Can't stand it. It's not all good. Get away from me. You're extremely too positive. So give me a call. Tell me what it is. Bill's is, it's all fine, right?
It's all good, baby. It's all
good. No, that's fair, right?
No, that's fair, yeah.
Okay. All right, I've got something here. Actually, let me do my devotional first. Let's get the good Lord on our side before we do anything here. Look, I'm going to do devotional, and I do it every day, Monday through Friday. Long list of people for many years I've been doing it. I've been blessed to have the opportunity to do it here. Thank you, Lord. And today's no different, so if this makes you squirmish, keep the volume up anyway. And here we go. It starts. Good morning. What comes out of your mouth usually comes from the heart. And I get this from Proverbs 27:19. As in water, face reflects face, so the heart of man reflects man. It comes from the heart, but is spoken with the tongue. And this comes from James chapter 3, verses 4 through 8. Look at the ships also, though they are so great and are driven by strong winds, are still directed by a very small rudder wherever the inclination of the pilot desires. So also the tongue is a small part of the body, and yet it boasts of great things. See how great a forest is set aflame by such a small fire. California. And the tongue is fire, the very world of iniquity. The tongue is set among our members, is that which defiles the entire body and sets on fire the course of our life and is set on fire by hell. For every species of beast and birds, of reptiles and creatures of the sea, it is tamed and has been tamed by the human race. But no one can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil and full of deadly poison. I close by saying, let's all mend our hearts and wash our mouths so that we may think and speak in a proper manner at the proper time. Have a blessed day. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Use it how you can. Share it with whom you wish. Plant the seed. Let the good Lord do the watering. And don't cram it down anybody's throat. Let's do today's quotes. Since we have so much going on in the world of politics, I thought we'd have something related here. That's the hint for the quotes. If you can tell me who is the author of these quotes, and give me a call here at 866-89-LOGIC, 866-895-6442, I'll get you a poster, a nice patriotic poster, beautiful looking gun, nice quote. I think you'll like it. Quote number 1. Reason obeys itself, and ignorance submits to whatever is dictated to it. Number 2. Those who want to reap the benefits of this great nation must bear the fatigue of supporting it. 3. Reputation is what men and women think of us. Character is what God and angels know of us. Next one. A long habit of not thinking a thing wrong gives it a superficial appearance of being right. Wow, that was a good one. Government, even in its best state, is but a necessary evil. In its worst state, an intolerable one. 2 more. One of these should be a giveaway that I've read. The harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. And the last quote. I love the man that can smile in trouble, that can gather strength from distress and grow brave by reflection. 'Tis the business of little minds to shrink, but he whose heart is firm, whose conscience approves his conduct, will pursue his principles unto death. If you can give me a call and tell me who is the author of those quotes, get you a nice patriotic poster, okay? 866-89-LOGIC, 866-895-6442. Now, I saw something here. I want to do a sidebar on global warming. I was talking to Susan this morning.
It's like 29 degrees outside.
I know, but check this out.
In Texas.
I was talking to Susan, looking at the Middle Eastern map here, and I was looking at the Caspian Sea, and I'm saying to myself, is the Caspian Sea more like a lake? Does it have a major outgo of water? I think it's actually a lake, huge lake, because there's really no place to go as compared to the Black Sea. The Black Sea has an outlet into the Mediterranean Sea. And so I looked it up on the map, and I saw this article, and I knew of a story that they said underneath the Black Sea, about 300, 600 feet, there's a civilization that was covered by water. And the lower levels of the lake is fresh water, and the upper parts is salt water. So the fresh water is heavier than the salt water, and so it's on top, which makes them think that the water was there from the Mediterranean or whatever. So I read this article, and here's part of it. And they say they believe that as melting glaciers from the last ice age raised sea levels, the Mediterranean suddenly broke through the strip of land separating it from the lower freshwater lake. Calculations suggested the inundation could have caused a giant waterfall many times bigger than Niagara Falls, pouring enough water into the freshwater lake to cause its surface to expand by more than a mile a day. Now, I read that, ladies and gentlemen, because we state here from history that the glaciers melted from the last ice age, the seawater rose, and it flooded these certain areas. Bottom line, we have a rotating cycle of cold and warmth when it comes to this planet. So when it comes to these people saying global warming, take off your tin hat, your foil hats, because that's not what's happening. What's happening is a natural turn of cycles when it comes to this planet. Can we keep ourselves cleaner by, trying to keep the air cleaner and all that? Sure we can. Not to the point that where it breaks us, but we do it in a systematical way that is feasible and doesn't break the bank. Bill?
Yeah.
Curious on your comments on that. I'm pulling you into the fray.
Oh, it's called a sea because it's salt water.
And what about the concept?
If it was just fresh water, it'd just be a lake. But because it's got salt water in it, it's called a sea.
Sea, okay.
Yeah. Navy, long time.
Well, that's a great explanation. I didn't know that.
Well, I also have to make a correction that I made a mistake this morning, and that seawater is actually heavier than
Heavier? Okay. Then maybe, I don't know what they're saying there, but they're saying there's a civil...
that's my fault.
Structures down below, timbers, buildings. It's kind of interesting. So it's like it wasn't there before, and they kind of compare it to the same time it happened. These structures were there about 7,500 years ago. So they're saying you got these stories written, and then you got the Bible saying about the Great Flood. There's all these different things. And then when you put the glass ice age, it just goes to show you, man, the ice caps get big, then they shrink. And when they shrink, the water rises. It's going to happen. It's happening now. It's going to freeze back up.
It's cyclic. I mean, it's caused by various different things, natural and unnatural. I mean, I think to sit there and say that we don't have an effect on our environment, it's insane. But Are we the well, I am. I'm working on it. Are we the driving factor in climate change? No, we're not the driving factor. Do we play a part in it? Yes, but here's the other side of it. It is cyclic, and the Earth will correct itself. People worry about that, but they don't worry about the population. Hey, the problem, and I've said this to you 100 times, the problem is not the amount of pollution per capita. The problem is there's too many per capita. There's too many of us. The Earth is only able to handle a certain amount of people, and right now we're getting to that limit to where we have too many people, and the thing is the Earth will correct itself. We will correct it. Look at England back in the Middle Ages and stuff. When the population got too large for the science of the day, what happened? You had the plague. You had various diseases that kind of culled the population. Right now, what do we do? What's our biggest problem? Is quite honestly, everybody eats too much meat. Everybody eats too much meat, and what's actually causing more of the environmental problems than anything is livestock. Is how much meat we actually eat. I know that rhymes. I didn't mean to do it, but happens sometimes. But anyway, we've got to learn how to better handle our. Look at Waco, just for a local example. For years, the water in Waco tasted like dirt. People hated it, and they couldn't figure out why. And once they put filtration systems and all that on the dairy farms upriver from Lake Waco, the main water source for Waco, once they did that, guess what happened? The water started tasting all right again. So we affect things too, and right, wrong, or indifferent. But we're not the only thing in the world that affects it. Look at, for instance, runways have had to move over a degree, and that's because the polarity of the Earth has moved somewhat, and that affects things too, because that affects how the seasonal changes happen throughout the world.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll continue on. See you on the other side.
Quick Wrench Automotive, your one-stop auto shop, family-owned and operated at 1402 North 3rd Street in Temple. Why go to another dealer? Quick Wrench Automotive, a full-service preventive maintenance and automotive repair center, offers a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty on most repairs nationwide, which also includes complimentary roadside assistance. Quick Wrench also offers the best price for oil changes around at $17.95 plus tax, which includes 5 quarts of oil, new oil filter, washer fluid, and complimentary 23-point inspection. Other great deals are available on our Facebook page as well as our website, quickwrenchautomotive.com. Give us a call Monday through Friday at 254-935-2145 to speak with an ASE certified technician. Quick Wrench Automotive, your one-stop shop for all your automotive needs.
Yeah, it's me, your heart. Listen to me. We've got to talk. High blood pressure is serious, and yours? Whoa. What happened to us? We used to be so much more active. But lately you've been ignoring me. I know you think I'm just gonna keep ticking away forever, but you're wrong. You can do so much more to control your high blood pressure. Doing the minimum isn't doing enough. I'm under a lot of pressure and can quit whenever I want. Bet you didn't know that. But I like my job. Just treat me better. Check on me. Give me something green to nibble on every once in a while. And maybe we can do some exercise on occasion. Let's get to it. After all, we're in this together.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. Find out how at heart.org/blood pressure. Check, change, control. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
I was visiting my 75-year-old aunt the other day when her phone rang.
Hello? It's you again.
She seemed nervous.
Well, I don't think I need any more life insurance.
The caller was doing a great job keeping my aunt on the line.
Okay, so you need my credit card number?
My aunt went to get her purse, so I decided that I would ask a few questions. Well, as soon as I introduced myself, the caller hung up.
Gruff the Crime Dog here. Recognizing the signs of fraud can be difficult for older people. Often they're very trusting and consider it impolite to hang up. The National Crime Prevention Council wants to educate seniors so that these scams can be reported to local law enforcement agencies.
Financial fraud can include identity theft, fake check and wire transfer scams, investment and credit card fraud, and online charitable solicitations. Unfortunately, only 1 in 5 of these crimes are reported. To learn more, go to www.ncpc.org. That's ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council and the U.S. Department of Justice.
Welcome back, everybody, to Logic Nation, November 1st, 2019. And we're here discussing the weather.
So let me, because we had a conversation off the air for a second. So when you're talking polar caps melting, I think the biggest factor in that is when you look at the history of the Earth and you look at when we've had ice ages and stuff, we've had variations in our magnetic variance, which is, you have your geographical poles, North Pole's where Santa Claus lives, South Pole's where, the penguins are. But you also have magnetic poles, and anybody that knows anything about compasses know that your compass a lot of times will point to magnetic north. It points to magnetic north. But that doesn't equal
you got 3
geographic
north. You got
north.
Magnetic north, true north, grid north. Okay,
Yeah.
If you're looking at a map.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that magnetic pole difference and change affects weather patterns. It's documented throughout history, and I think that has more to do with polar melt than pollution or any of that. Now, when I was talking just a second ago about pollution, that's more on that's less about climate change and just more about our environment and cleanup. So
Well, I'll tell you what, I got Rayford on the line.
Yeah,
He
go
wants to
ahead.
make a comment. Let's see what he's got to say. Rayford, stand by. I want to get you on here. I appreciate you listening and calling in, Rayford. What's on your mind, buddy?
Okay, I hate to argue with you guys, but got to be really careful on this magnetic pole thing about cause and effect and whether it is just going along. But the Earth varies. It wobbles on its axis by about 3 degrees from 21 21 to 24 approximately, over a 22,000-year cycle. And as it orbits around the sun over a much longer cycle of about 226,000 years, the inclination of the Earth lines up with Saturn and Jupiter. And Saturn and Jupiter pull the Earth slightly out of its orbit and causes it to get about 1.5% closer to the sun. Excuse me, that's a change in temperature of about 1.5 degrees. But anyway, it's a wobble in the orbits, and when they line up and the pole tips toward the sun, that pole gets much warmer. So, or the poles get much warmer. So that's a cycle that the United Nations doesn't seem to know about. And the magnetic pole wobbling, it flips completely over a period that's, I'm sorry, I do not know the exact number on that, but it's flipped several times, and they can tell by the magnetic field that's trapped in lava from volcanoes. So it's an interesting thing, but I have never read where the magnetic variance impacted the weather. And
well, Rayford, let me make a follow-up comment to you. I think we're all agreeing in that one respect that we're not doing it. It's a natural effect that happens over the course of time, right?
The magnetic pole wandering, yes, that's a fact because the Earth has a molten iron core. But I don't know the impact of that on the weather. That's going to mess the birds up to navigate by magnetic fields, but that's a long cycle also relative to the lifespan of a bird. So they'll probably manage just fine. The other thing is there was an article in I read just the other day that this Antarctic ice cap is growing at the fastest rate they have, and they're worried about an ice age. And we're going into a solar minimum right now. We went into it 2 years early, and the last time that happened, the Thames River froze over. So global warming is not a real problem. Ask Denver. Bye-bye.
All right, Rayford, thanks a lot. I'll tell you what, there's too much going on for me to worry about global warming because I'll be dead. We'll all be dead, and it'll still keep doing what it's been doing for millennia, okay? So we need to worry about what's happening now, I guess. But I'll tell you what, I wanted to make I got an article here, and since the fires are raging in California, I just thought it was interesting. You get a lot of people, these famous stars and actors with tons and tons of money, and you think nothing can affect them or faze them. Got an article here. Arnold Schwarzenegger among stars forced to evacuate homes in California wildfires as they rage. You got Schwarzenegger, this is a day or two ago, tweeted early this morning letting fans know that he had safely relocated and urging others to do the same. His ex-wife, Maria Shriver, had to do the same thing. Basketball superstar LeBron James was another big name among the evacuees. He goes, man, the LA fires aren't no joke, he said. Had to emergency evacuate my house, and I've been driving around with my family trying to get rooms. No luck so far. He finally found a place. Then you got Marvel star Clark Gregg also turned to Twitter to let everybody know about him. Then you had director Peter Berg. He had to leave as well. So I'm just saying, you have this high status of finances, and everybody knows you, but it doesn't matter. When life comes knocking on your door, even those in high power are affected. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. You can't get away from a fire when it's coming to your house. That must be a scary thought, too. I couldn't imagine I can't imagine how I would be if my house was totally devastated through fire. It'd be just tragic. So be very careful when you've got your fireplaces, your wood stoves, wiring.
Heat lamps,
all sorts of things like that. You've got to be aware of what you're doing. And
candles, yeah.
And make sure you have fire extinguishers available. I'm serious. Make sure you have fire extinguishers in your bedrooms. You got a wood stove. Make sure you got a large fire extinguisher to take care of it there. In the kitchen, have water hoses around the house. Maybe you can do a quick extinguishing of the fire if there is one, God forbid. But anyway, be aware. It happens to all of us. We'll be back, and we'll continue on. See you on the other side.
DWI and criminal defense attorney Ed Laughlin.
Just because you or a loved one has been pulled over or arrested for DWI does not mean you're guilty of DWI. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and to be arrested and charged with DWI, the officer has to only have probable cause that you're intoxicated. It's only the officer's opinion. However, to be convicted of DWI, your guilt must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a much stricter burden. If you have been arrested for DWI or any other offense and want an attorney who will rigorously defend you, call me at 1-800-492-2589 or log on to my website at edlaughlin.com. Over the past 25 years as an attorney, I've been both a prosecutor and now a defense attorney. You need an experienced attorney who will work hard to get you the justice that you deserve.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed now at 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. First visit is always free. You're going to feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad in names and numbers.
Here at the Logic Nation, we often encourage you to be logical. Now, I've got two more great words to live by. Get supplied. With Studio L as a center point, Smith Supply will provide you with everything to clean anything and deliver it on time within 150 miles. That means we can deliver cleaning supplies to any facility, any business, including hotels and motels, even industries and factories, anywhere in the Killeen, Temple, Fort Hood Metro, Waco, and Austin. No matter where you are, we can ship to your order. We also provide janitorial services and building maintenance in some areas, and our Temple showroom and our online catalog are open to the public. We're here to save you money and get your supplies to you on time, every time. So, get supplied. Since 1961, we're Smith Supply, 254-773-3592, and online at smithsupply.com.
The attorneys at Capolino, Dodd & Krebs, LLP, never settle for anything less than you deserve. In America, drunk driving has become the most frequently committed crime, and it happens in Texas more than any other state. If you've been injured by a drunk driver, you are entitled by law to compensation. If you or a loved one has been injured, visit respectforyou.com. That's respectforyou.com. The attorneys of Capolino, Dodd & Krebs, LLP can help you. Call 800-460-0606.
If you're an advertiser, think about this.
Your prospects are bombarded with messages. Some, like TV commercials, can be fun. Some, like pop-ups and spam, are annoying.
And in a crowded media environment, it's important that you stand out.
That's why we seek out great sponsors with products and services that make your life better.
We feature your message in a radio show that's upfront, never background, and we talk about you on air.
It's all about branding and keeping your product top of mind.
So call or email us today.
Be part of the Logic Nation radio family.
Clean. All right, we're back, everybody, in Logic Nation. What I'm trying to get at is this. Even though we have a lot of usage, we are constantly looking at ways to minimize the effects of the usage.
When you have 3 times clean usage that someone has dirty usage, your pollution's going to be the same. So, if everything we do produces, let's say, a third the amount of pollution as what China does, for instance, but we're using 3 times as much of the energy, we're still going to create the same amount of pollution. And that's because
isn't there a term though of cleaner? I know this is going to sound funny, but cleaner pollution, because no matter what you do,
we are being cleaner in America, but we're just using 3 times as much. It's a point I make. Why do we have the same amount of pollution as China? Well, China is more raw pollution. They create more on the whole. Well, they don't. We equal each other as far as pollution.
People say this argument, and they make us, the Americans, look like we're bad people. All we are people who are civilized in the sense of we want to constantly.
You're not a bad person, Matt. Okay, as far as pollution goes, I'm not a bad person. The people that are bad are the ones that rail against it while they're Facebooking. And while they're watching their 4 TVs in their house, and while they're driving their big trucks and stuff, if you're going to rail against pollution, you need to be the example of how not to pollute.
Well, that would be the same way with these people in these high positions when they're flying their Lear jets.
You're exactly right. I agree. I completely agree. Look, I try to do what I can do at my house and at my office, but that's me, But even then, I'm probably polluting way more than some bushman living in a shack in the outback of Australia who's completely off the grid.
I know, but I don't want that
honesty.
to put a guilt trip on anybody in this country saying, "Oh, because I don't live in a shack, I'm guilty for using it."
Look,
No,
if you're on a guilt trip, you need to stop and look at what you're doing and then fix it. Okay, I can't fix it, and you can't fix everybody's guilt trip. So if you feel like you're guilty of polluting, then you need to fix yourself. I can't. I mean,
I think being guilty or feeling guilty about polluting would be eating a candy bar and throwing the wrapper on the street. Let me take this call. I got John on the line. He's got the quotes. Let's see if he really does have the quotes or not. John, I appreciate you listening and thanks for calling. How you doing this morning?
Doing good.
Good. Glad you gave us a call. Who do you think it is with these quotes?
Thomas Paine.
Very good, man. Did you know that just because you heard it, or did you have to go look it up?
Well, I mean, doing anything with the Constitution, I mean, it's Thomas Paine. He's kind of who Jefferson and everybody else looked towards. Common sense is just a great thing.
Thomas Paine has some awesome letters. I've read it. I've got a book full of it, and incredible. Love it. A lot of these quotes, you've heard them before, but you don't really know who says it and where they come from. So it's cool that you know that, and it definitely is Thomas Paine. And I've got a great poster for you. Are you going to come in, John, to pick it up?
Yeah.
Okay, you know where Ed Laughlin's office is in Temple here on Avenue J?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, great. I'll have your name on the poster. You come on and pick it up, and I appreciate you listening. Hey, what's your comments? What's your comments on global warming?
It's all a conspiracy theory. It's really, I mean, like the caller before talking about the access and everything. It's called an Earth cycle. Don't look it up on Google because Google censors that part. Look it up through Bing or some other search engine and start looking up what is an Earth cycle and why does it fluctuate.
Not to put words in your mouth or thoughts in your head, let me throw something out there. Could we say we're in agreement in generality with everybody that when we talk about polar ice caps and pollution, like throwing stuff in the river, producing products that causes pollution, are kind of like two different things? We're talking Earth cycle that's going to do what it wants to do no matter what, and then we're talking humans who cause pollution, and we need to keep check of ourselves to keep things as clean as we can. Would you agree to that extent?
No.
Clarify.
Asteroids have hit the Earth, causing plenty of debris all over the Earth. Doesn't really matter. Earth takes care of itself. It's all a cycle. It's all a rotation of what is life.
Okay, well, I think you're agreeing with me. What I was saying was they're two separate things. The Earth is going to do what the Earth does. Us human, we can throw garbage in the street, pollute in the rivers, and we can clean that up. But that has nothing to do with what the Earth's going to do, right?
Correct, but like I said, no matter what we do on this Earth, it's still going to correct itself.
Eventually, in time, yeah. Once we're all dead and gone, probably. All right, John. I appreciate the call. I'll have your poster up in the front. Just ask for Sissy for it, and it'll be up there in the front. And she'll give it to you. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, sir. Perfect time. We'll take a break. And when we come back, we'll stir some more stuff up. We'll see you on the other side.
Excuse me. I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short. I'm the business suit in the back of your closet. You wore me nearly every day before your office went, quote, casual. I used to be the CEO of your closet. Now I'm just that one intern no one ever talks to. I always thought you'd circle back with me, get granular, keep me in the pipeline. But nada. Nothing. Don't you remember the McKittrick presentation? You spilled coffee on me, and I still looked amazing during the breakout talkback Q&A. So, I think it's time for me to move on. I've got a great resume, and I absolutely crush it in interviews, okay? Let's make this a clean break. Shift the paradigm. The only thing I ask is that you think outside the box here and do this. Take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
So you're giving up? Just like that?
Giving up on what?
On getting an inheritance from a distant relative.
Don't you think if there were a billionaire in the family, we'd know about it by now?
Listen to me. We are one phone call away from riding horses on our own private polo grounds. One call from christening yachts, having a butler, using summer as a verb.
How do you figure?
Look, everyone's got a rich uncle somewhere. It's statistics. So the best thing you can do is just prepare for the inevitable.
Right, which is why I thought maybe it would be smart to take control of my finances. You know, start using a budget, get out of debt, set some retirement goals.
Budgets? Debt? You watch your mouth. Retirement shouldn't be a goal for us. It should be a way of life.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody, to Logic Nation, November 1st, 2019. Matt, your host here. I've got Susan Sturl and Bill Whitmire, Republican chair of Milan County, sitting in.
We kind of got sidetracked on the pollution and
it's a
climate
good topic,
change.
man. It's a very
I'll
passionate
tell you
topic.
this is, and I told you this at the break, and I'll recap it here. Is I work in the oil field, and pollution is a huge issue, as you can imagine.
That's
with us.
fracked up, man.
Yeah, well, that's the area I work in, as a matter of fact. And we do, 30 years ago, the way we operated in the oil field would make Chinese people cringe now. And it was just standard operating procedure. We used to cut paraffin out of wells, and we'd lower a pipe from the well to the ground 50 feet over to the side, and we'd light that on fire. And as we cut the paraffin out of the well and it came back up, it just burned right there on the ground. And we'd never think about doing that nowadays. You just don't do that. But back then, we thought we were being clean back then because we're burning it and getting rid of it. But, you're releasing all that into the atmosphere and then you're burning it on the ground. And we know better nowadays. So, we pump that through. That paraffin gets recycled. It gets used. And that paraffin can be used for many different things, candles, anything. But we recycle things now all the time on location. Out in West Texas, they use a ton of water for frac jobs.
I got a question.
And
right
they
off.
recycle that water and use it over and over and over again.
If you burn paraffin from the well and it's not good, and we put it into candles, isn't it the same thing? Only on
No, because it's once we send it in, it gets refined, it gets cleaned up, and
Okay.
stuff that you have in candles. But you have all kinds of stuff that comes out of the ground that burns. That
I want to
can
get
be
Darren on
dangerous.
the line here. He's from Belton, calling about global warming. I want to see what he's got to say. Hey, Darren, thanks for listening. Appreciate you calling. What's on your mind, buddy?
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call. The fact that we think we can change the weather is a little bit egotistical. Now, pollution, when we dump stuff in the rivers and we throw stuff on the ground, we don't have to be pigs. We need to take care of. We were made caretakers of the earth, not destroyers of. But at the same time, we don't have anything to do with the weather. 400 years ago, they grew crops that they cannot grow right now in England because it was warmer. It's a cyclical thing. There's a fellow by the name of Kent Hovind. I don't know if you've ever heard of him or not, but he has you can go on YouTube and find him. He has an amazing series that's absolutely scripturally based on explanations of things and the happenings that go on and how it's already there in Scripture. And he has one about the flood, and it's the most interesting, and it all comes from Scripture, and it's really kind of fascinating. And he shows physical evidence of what he's talking about as well. What I don't understand is how people can claim that they know something when there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever. They're just drawing straws.
Well, the other thing, too, is they're taking evidence off of just, let's say, 100, 150 years worth of history, and that's nothing. That's not even a blink of an eye in the lifespan of history.
Well, it's if you go on there, if you ever get the chance and you decide to look, his name is Kent Hovind, and he calls it the Hovind theory, and he said the only reason I call that is not to boost my ego, but rather if it's ever considered wrong, I'll take responsibility. But then he goes to Scripture, and then he goes to the physical evidence, and the explanation of the flood is just phenomenal of what happened on that day and in that time period. And he talks about the polar ice caps. He talks about how they could find a mammoth found frozen in the standing position. It takes 300 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit for that to happen. And he explains all of that. It's really quite amazing. And he also explains why we have the cyclical, the cycles of hot and cold throughout the years. That's something I think you'd be very interested in if you ever decide to check it out.
It's always stuff like that's always interesting to me. So another thing about the Bible, it says the good Lord provides in excess. We've got more than we need. We'll always have more than we need. We just need to take care of what we've got and maximize its potential. And I think the two are different. When it comes to the earth changing its cycles, that's totally different than from us as humans polluting, just not being caretakers. Like Bill was saying before, in the day, they used to burn paraffin and now they recycle it. There's so many different ways. I remember rivers up in New York, you could light a match and they'd burn. Now they're very clean, some of the cleanest rivers in the country, if not the world, based on because we're learning. It's just a matter of we're a large country, use a lot of stuff. And just because we do that doesn't mean we have to be guilty about it. It just means we have to be more clean about it. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to take a top of the hour break. Appreciate everybody's calls. And after the break, we'll continue on. See you on the other side. Thanks a lot for your call, Darren.
Thank you.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food in our country than we know what to do with. Food at the grocery store and food in the vending machines, fast food, health food, and seafood. We've got so much food that anything people don't buy, we just throw out. Yet 17 million kids in America struggle with hunger. That ain't right. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Yeah, I made that up. It's kind of catchy. Hello, people. This isn't rocket science. We could solve hunger today. To start, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. That's a website. Duh. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
I'm a veteran. My victory was admitting I had PTSD and getting help.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I no longer see it as a weakness, but as a sign of strength. I call it post-traumatic growth.
DAV provides a lifetime of support, helping veterans of every generation get the benefits they've earned.
I am a veteran. I lost both legs in Vietnam.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans so they can reach victories great and small.
My victory was getting my benefits and a good education.
I'm a veteran. When I got out, I felt like nowhere was safe. My victory was finding the help I needed.
But there's more to be done and more victories to be won.
Thanks to DAV, now I feel like I'm human again.
Help support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman, something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, all right, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cold time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
And welcome back, everybody, to Logic Nation. Today is November 1st, 2019. I'll tell you what, we've been talking global warming. It ain't happening here in this studio. I'm freezing.
I know, it's cold in here.
Okay.
I was going to say, I was wondering if there's anybody else but me. My toes are a little cold.
Yeah, man, it's cold. My joints hurt. Listen, today's the last day for early voting. So make sure you go out and vote. If you miss it, voting's on Tuesday, November 5th.
Look, I got this thing. I want to read it real quick because it's relevant to that. California is burned up, out of gas, and sitting in the dark. That's the price you pay when you elect Democrats and you vote Democrats. So get out and vote.
There you go. Then you got Detroit. You got Baltimore. You got all these different places, Democratic rules.
San Francisco.
And
going down the 12.
and there's really nobody on the ballot right now unless it's a local ballot for this election, but it's a constitutional election, and those things have consequences. So go vote. Get out and vote.
All right, let me get caught up on a bunch of stuff here. We had our quote winner. We took care of that. Excuse me.
Bless you.
I should press the, the cough button? They don't have a sneeze button, so I didn't press it. All right, I was talking the last couple of days about Christmas in November. I've got a special going on for the 4 Sundays in November, 2 to 3 hour sessions for handgun training for 5 students ages 16 to 21. Somebody asked me, why is it 16 to 21? It's because I want to grab them when they're young. I want to grab them when they have no bad habits. I want to grab them because I think my training and what I do and who I am and what I try to portray myself as, and let me clarify that. No, I'm sorry. I like to be a mentor to kids. I like to, if they have challenges, I like to relay information that I've learned through the Bible and try to convey it in that manner. So I feel as though I've got a calling to do that. So if you got kids or something that want to learn how to point shoot in a good environment, a safe environment, and one that is of blessed direction, I try to stay focused on the Lord. Then I'm offering, and this is the reason why I'm offering this training. It's for 5 students, 16 to 21. Offering for $50 per person for the month. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be honest with you, it's a $500 to $600 training session for somebody of that amount of time, if not more. If you were to go to some place in Nevada, I won't name the names, you're paying $2,000, $3,000 to get the same training I'm going to be training you for $50, okay? I only request a $200 deposit, and I do this for a reason. I'm tired of the lame excuses. If somebody says they're going to be somewhere and do something or commit something, and then they don't show up, that's not my problem. That's your problem. So you're going to cough up the money and pay me for it. But if you show up for 4 weeks, 4 Sundays, 2 to 3 hour sessions to learn how to protect yourself and use a firearm, okay, for $50, great deal. Today's the last day. I don't get any calls, I'm throwing it out. So if you want, give me a call here at the studio or send me an email at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com. I'll say it one more time before the end of the show. What else we got here? If you want to be part of the show, give us a call, 866-895-6442, 866-89-LOGIC. Stream us live at logicnation.us. Also, go to social media at Facebook at Logic Nation Radio. Got a video posted up there, and this is the age-old question between men and women. Does size matter? Okay? So if you check out the video there, you'll understand what we're talking about, and you can make a decision. Like it and share it with everybody you know. Go to YouTube. It's got up there as well, youtube.com/Logic Nation Radio, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That helps us out tremendously. If you like this show, be a miracle, right? If you like this show and are willing to support it in one way, form, or fashion, you can do so by subscribing to the YouTube channel and liking us on Facebook and sharing us with everybody you know. Okay, that's how you can help. Also, the other way you can help is before you buy that gun or before you go get your cleaning supplies or whatever sponsor is on the program, legal advice, either Ed or Dodd, whatever, support the sponsors, support the program. Okay, they're there for a reason. They have faith in us. We have faith in them. They enjoy the program, and we're hoping that you, the listener, will utilize those services. You're getting entertainment in one form or another through this radio show. So help support it by supporting the sponsors to support the program. Okay, it's very important. All right, I want to hit a topic here. It's about the children. I read yesterday 2 articles. Kmart unveils same-sex family dolls targeting children as young as 3. I'll recap it very quickly. Kmart stores in Australia are selling a line of same-sex family dolls complete with 2 children, a pet, oriented toward children as young as 3 years old. According to Aussie news site 10 Daily, the store released a family playset dolls for children 3 years or older, which include 2 fathers or 2 mothers, as well as a young child, a baby, a dog, and a picnic set.
Are there any Kmarts in the United States anymore, or just in Australia?
There's like a handful of them somewhere up
but
in
that's
the
the reason why they're going out of business with policies like this. The article, let's see, the dolls are supposedly inclusive for same-sex couples. The article goes on to quote various adult Facebook commentators express approval of the dolls under the headline, Kmart fans applaud same-sex family doll sets. Let me go to the next one. School district to request sexual orientation in kindergarten students. Children as young as 4 will be requested to provide information about their gender identity and sexual orientation to school district officials in Ottawa, Canada. Okay? Starting November 26th, the students will be asked for personal information, including details related to their race, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, etc., etc. Ladies and gentlemen, it can never happen here, right? Excuse me. I had a cough button, didn't use it. Again. Check this out. I'll tell you what, let's start with California.
There's 115 Kmart locations.
Okay, well, they're going to go out of business pretty freaking quick. California approves new guidance for teaching sex education. Let's go over this by the numbers, shall we? The California Board of Education Wednesday approved a new statewide guidance for health education, including recommendations for teaching sex education to align with the California Healthy Young Act, the state's comprehensive sex ed law. The board members, find out who they are, unanimously approved the framework after nearly 200 speakers offered their opinions, including scores who've been mobilized by conservative religious groups to protest the sex ed guidance. So hundreds of people protesting, yet unanimously by the board. They focus primarily on the books they deem too explicit as aspects of the framework that address the sexual health of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender students as those questioning their sexual identity. The final version of the framework did not include recommendations of several books, blah, blah, blah. We're not saying those books are bad, but the removal can help avoid the misunderstanding that California is mandating these books. What they're basically saying is, we're going to teach your children how to have sex. They're going to teach them how to put a condom on. They're going to teach you how to have anal sex. They're going to teach you how to have different types of sex, starting with children extremely young. Now, that's California, right? You think it can never happen here. We said it can never happen in the United States. It can never happen in here, but it's happening in California. Now, check this out. Texas School District mandates transgender education for 8 years old. And I've got 2 articles here. I'll go to this one. The public schools in Fort Worth are going trans positive. Here's a link to the new school policy, which is based on the new federal interpretation of Title IX. Highlights include, there doesn't need to be a medical or mental health diagnosis involved. If a male student says he's a girl, then he's a girl, and vice versa. Next, schools are instructed to keep students' asserted gender identity hidden from parents unless authorized to share the information with them. Next, school personnel are to consider themselves to be allies of a student undergoing gender transition. That means not telling their parents or guardians. Next, transgender students must have the opportunity to participate in school sports as the gender they claim to be, though they're not guaranteed this as a right. But there's more. The Fort Worth schools are now compelling teachers and others to teach gender ideology to students. And here are the highlights. Teachers are no longer to call their students boys and girls, but to use gender-neutral language to refer to them as students. Classrooms are to feature diversity in their classroom materials. So let's recap it here. Let's recap. Public school teachers and personnel in Fort Worth Independent School District are now required by policy to instruct students that gender can be whatever you want it to be. And they're required to keep parents in the dark about their kids transitioning or presenting themselves as the opposite gender at school. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have a problem with that? Does anybody have a problem with that? I know you do. But here you have a board who unanimously says it's okay.
Well, the board knows better than we do,
Oh,
don't you
screw
think?
that. I know you're saying that facetiously. I know that.
Hey, but the board is elected.
There you go.
It's elected. I mean,
They
you know,
elected them.
every time people tell me my vote doesn't matter, that board was elected by people that live there. Right, wrong, or indifferent, what they're doing, they were elected. They're an elected body.
Aaron's Gun Shop and High Cap Adventures fills the void between a Johnny wannabe and a person who has been properly trained in the proper handling and use of a firearm. Call me, Matt Betros, at 254-697-4721 or email me at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com and set up a class or seminar to get you started on the road to proficiency with a firearm for self-defense. Go to our website, aaronsgunshop.com, and review the High Cap Adventures page. We have seminars to cover most forms of firearms training. Call 254-697-4721 or email me at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com to get more information on how to get started with your training. The time for games is over. Reality starts now. aaronsgunshop.com.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in your closet, the back of your closet. What am I doing here? Would you keep caviar in the back of your fridge with the ketchup and old milk? Yeah, I don't think so. So, what happened to us? I mean, have you seen my label? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Sure, I never really fit you quite right, and one of my pockets is so small you can't even squeeze your hand into it. But it's all about the look. And I look good. I need to get back out on the scene so I can be seen. You know, going to fancy parties, getting expensive iced coffees, Sunday fun days, okay? So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody, to Logic Nation. I got passionate in the last segment, and I missed my cue, so you probably heard me getting passionate and then get cut off by a commercial, so we're going to continue it on.
Just recap. You know, you said that about what they're doing in Fort Worth and all the transgender nonsense up there, and that the board voted unanimously for that. And the thing is, Matt, is that board is publicly elected.
You know, when you said that, I don't know if it came across because I missed the cue in the commercial. I shut up instantly because I go, he's right.
Yeah.
These people are electing these people to these boards, and I go to myself here, I'm thinking the people are going to get on these people on the board, but they're the ones electing the people on the board. I don't get it. I got a couple of calls, right? John.
I mean, people don't take the time anymore to actually think about who they're voting for or even go vote, and they say my vote doesn't count, where in a case like that, your vote could count.
Marcus, stand by. I'll get you on in a minute. I want to talk to John here. John, stand by. Let me get you queued up here, and we'll see what you got to say. And getting a little passionate here. John, welcome to the show. Thanks for calling. You're calling about the school board? Go ahead. What's up, man?
Okay. I heard him, Bill making his statement. Here's the question. If you disagree with Fort Worth, does that mean that you have a mental health issue and that they can throw the red flag up and come get your gun?
That's a good question, John. That really is a good question.
I know it's funny, but
no, I'm not. It's a gallows humor, John. It's a gallows humor because I know where you're coming from.
right, exactly. And I think that's what they're going for, Matt. I think what the overall plan is, and I've been noticing it since Obama, is to create as much anxiety and angst as they possibly can, and that they say that's anxiety is one of the number one disease makers in people. It creates cancer and things like that, and stress. Well, stress creates problems that lead to cancer, but there's a lot behind propaganda by trying to stress people out. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean.
I understand. I agree with what you're saying because I've seen that too, and I can look at my own life and see how anxieties or stress can cause problems. And
right.
I look at it as it's a passion. I have a passion to protect women and children. Guys, right. You're on your own. I'll protect you too if I have to, but I've got this thing about protecting women and children. And when I see these children they're not being able to live like children anymore. Like I was raised as a child and so many others raised, but now these children have to worry about twerking and identity, picking their identity and wearing women's clothes and drag queens and all this kind of stuff.
I know. Instead of worrying about how to build a tree house or how to throw a knuckleball, or how to learn how to ride your bicycle or even playing front yard football.
Right.
I never see it no more. I never even see a kid walking around, with a lawnmower, even trying to earn $1, earn $10 on the weekend.
Good point.
All I see is nothing but people stuck in their phones.
Now, to be fair, there are kids out there that still do that. I've seen a few. Just to raise your hope a little bit, I remember being at a gun show one time, John, and I had these business cards that promoted my business, and there was a twofold business card. It opened up and showed the Bill of Rights. And I had this little young buck come by. I said, hey, man, what's your Second Amendment, First Amendment, Third Amendment? He was whipping them out like it was no tomorrow. And I go, man, that's awesome. I go, where'd you go to school? He goes, I went to Belton High School. I'm learning these things. And I was so proud of this kid. So there is hope out there. It's just a matter of finding who they are and sharing the wealth.
I know, but, that's where the kids learn their ethics, like their work ethic and understand the value of $1. Things like that, it just isn't, the money isn't just handed out to you whenever you want, and you have to work for things. People have lost sight of that. You just can't get stuff for free.
And and I know, and everybody who does work for things, it feels a heck of a lot better when you get it, putting the effort into it.
You understand what it takes.
Right.
And a lot of these vets, they're out here, they've earned that disability, they can't go do stuff they used to be able to do, and but that's a whole different story than sitting on your butt at home when you're 25 and collecting whatever you can from the government because you just don't want to work.
I think a lot of parents have failed their children and want to be their friends instead of their parents.
Right, you can't be your kids' friends. You got to be a parent.
They can like you. They can like you.
Tuesday, right?
Say again.
All right,
man. Thanks, John. Appreciate the call. It was a good conversation.
You bet. Have a good one.
All right, Marcus. Let me get you on the line here. That was a great call. Thanks, John, for listening. Thanks for calling. Let's get Marcus on here about voting. Marcus, stand by. I'll get you queued up, buddy, and we'll see what you got. Marcus, thanks for calling, buddy. How you doing?
TGI Friday, brother.
I better see you tonight, man.
With next weekend.
Okay, all right. Okay, whatever. Go ahead.
All right, hey, early voting, man. Speaking of voting, it's early voting. Y'all get on down there. They got them new machines and everything, and you can be having all kind of fun. Got touch screen now. We're getting fancy in Texas.
Right. Today's the last day for early voting. That's right.
So go down there and wake them old people up. They're sleeping. Okay? They're sleeping down there. And you're getting paid. Y'all realize that? They're getting paid for sleeping because nobody shows up down there.
Wake them up. That's right. We got to go out there. Bill, what's the percentage?
Early vote until Saturday, brother. Till Saturday.
Hey, Bill, what's the voting percentage of people voting?
For a constitutional election, it's somewhere between 10 to 12 people. 10 to 12% of the people in the state of Texas vote in that election.
Oh my gosh, that's just terrible, man. In a population of 350 million people, on a general election.
Oh, this is for the state.
Yeah, I know, but in a general,
for
what
the presidential election, I think last time it was 48%. It was something, I'll have to look it up, but it was right around 50%.
That's still low. Yeah. So when the state was going 10 to 11%, and what's the population of the state?
Our state right now, we're at 28 going to 29.
Okay, that's a very small percentage. So you're right, Marcus. Everybody needs to wake up, get out there, wake up these people, and vote. Very important to vote. Today's the last day for early voting, and November 5th is Election Day. That's Tuesday the 5th. Go out there and vote. Don't forget this Sunday, I believe,
for constitutional elections in the state of Texas, it's usually 10 to 12% of the people turn out to vote. For the 2016 presidential election, it's 55% of the people made the decision.
And that's probably higher just based on who the two people were.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very, very, very much so.
In general, what is it, about 30%?
I think for 2012, which was Obama and Romney, it was somewhere around. It was like 48%. It was somewhere around there. But yeah, I mean, get out and vote. This constitutional election doesn't seem like much. There's 10 propositions on the ballot. Number 4 is probably the most centered on one right now. If you don't want personal income tax, it's a yes. If it's not, if you want to leave it up to the legislature a whole lot more than what it could be, then vote no. But I think most people will vote yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a cancer, and the cancer is our children being perverted into sexual objects.
Man, I'll tell you that the number one problem with it all is and John touched on a little bit, so did you, is parental participation. Our parents,
but they're perverted, man.
Our parents are absent for a lot of the, you know, a lot. Hey, I'll guarantee you, Bill, you're right. I'm 50.
I bet you John is close to that age.
But I'll guarantee you, you know, a lot of the parents, you're right. There is a lot of perversion going on with parents, but I'll guarantee you, the vast majority is, you know, they've got that syndrome where as long as that kid's not causing trouble, he can do whatever he wants. As long as he's out of my hair, I don't have to worry about it, and he's fine. Yeah. And they don't realize the trouble that their kids are aiming
at.
Well,
I think the parents are AWOL. They're not there.
Exactly.
They're just not there.
But I do want to support and I do want to uplift those parents who are there.
Oh, yeah.
Because they get out of the equation and they seem like, well, I take care of my kids. You're darn right you take care of your kids. And congratulations for doing that.
You raise your kids. And we have two huge problems in America is that we have that group that neglects their kids, doesn't pay attention to them, isn't worried about them. As long as they're not causing me any problems, I don't have to worry about them. And then you have the helicopter parents that are on top of their kids all the time, and their kids are the greatest thing since sliced butter. It's not sliced bread. You don't slice butter, but sliced bread.
Toast. Best thing is buttered toast.
And they run around and follow them around and
do all their
home, do everything for them, and take care of them, and pay for all this extra stuff and all this junk. And just baby them to the point where when they grow up, they turn into what we have now in their 20s and such.
We have a crisis on our hand, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not sure which way to go with it. Maybe you can give us a call and let us know what you think. 866-89-LOGIC. Take a break. See you on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get face-to-face with Vis-a-Vis Galleria in their warehouse located at 3 Mesquite Avenue in Rogers, Texas. Vis-a-Vis Galleria is a boutique with new apparel and fashion jewelry and features over 20 vendors who populate 5,000 square feet of farmhouse, shabby chic, antique, and vintage furniture and home decor. There's even a booth dedicated to Iron Orchard Designs. Patricia Posvar, owner of Vis-a-Vis Galleria, opens the Galleria Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. until 5:30 and will gladly host a ladies' night out shopping spree at your request. Diana Beednell, an interior decorator and Galleria vendor, will offer complimentary design suggestions for your decorating challenges. Vis-a-Vis is a go-to destination stop. If you haven't been to Vis-a-Vis Galleria, go see what you've been missing. For more information, call Vis-a-Vis Galleria at 254-642-0005 or check them out on Facebook at Vis-a-Vis Galleria. Mention that you heard this ad and receive 15% off your boutique apparel purchase.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're very overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio prediabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Every driver has met that guy who resents you for driving the speed limit and respecting traffic signals. You know, the guy who's entitled to cut you off because he always has a more important place to be than you do. That guy who lets you know you're in the way of his mission. That guy who refuses to come to a complete stop at the stop sign because he always comes first. That guy who doesn't think that bumper-to-bumper traffic applies to him. That guy who does everything in his power to make the road a more dangerous place to drive. If you've never met that guy, think about it. Maybe it's because you are that guy.
Aggressive drivers. They aren't just rude, they can be deadly. Don't be that guy. Be safe, drive smart. Sponsored by the Texas Department of Transportation.
Here's the way most people think of work zones on Texas highways.
I drive all over the state, and work zones are everywhere. They really slow me down.
They make me crazy. I have to drop my speed from 65 to 55 to 45. Can't they just finish already?
I depend on my cruise control, but every time I come into a work zone, I've got to turn it off and on and off and back on again. It's frustrating.
And those frustrations are understandable. But if people thought about it realistically, they might say things like this.
I'm slowing down and being extra careful because I don't want to cause a crash or get hurt or kill somebody.
Oh, sure, it's a pain right now, but when they're finished, we're going to have the best roads in the country.
Work zone ahead. Fines double. I'm slowing down.
Last year, more than 15,000 crashes occurred in Texas work zones, and more than 100 people lost their lives. So when you enter a work zone, slow down, pay extra attention, and stay away from that cell phone. Be safe. Drive smart. This message brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.
Welcome back, everybody, to Logic, to Logic Nation. November 1st, 2019. I'm telling you, you need to learn to read lips.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff.
I'll give you some inside scoop here. You know, we're having massive conversations, in-depth conversations. We're going back and forth, so on and so forth. And all of a sudden, the music comes on, push the button, we're on the air. Boom! Welcome back, everybody. You want to be part of the show, give us a call, 866-89-LOGIC. Stream us live at logicnation.us. Social media at Facebook at Logic Nation Radio. I'm surprised we haven't gotten a call on this. The question goes out to men and women. Does size matter? Okay? And I get these answers from guys, and then I get the answers from the women, and they don't match sometimes. And it's interesting. So I'd like to get your commentary, ladies and gentlemen. Does size really matter? So go check out Logic Nation. Facebook at Logic Nation Radio or YouTube at youtube.com/Logic Nation Radio and tell me what you think, okay? Now, we were talking about how children are being molested, maligned, perverted, all sorts of things. And Bill's mentioning, these people who make these decisions on the board are elected by us. And when he said that, I just shut up. I go, yeah, you're right. So if you know who these people are, I would say, hey, listen, what's the deal? Where are you coming from? Why? What are you, nuts? Let the child be a child. A child in the state of Texas is 17 years and younger. And here you are trying to jack with their identity at age 3. I was talking about articles here that Kmart unveils the same-sex family dolls targeting children young as 3. School district to request sexual orientation of kindergarten students. California approves new guidance for teaching of sex education. Texas school district mandates transgender education for 8-year-olds. Texas schools go trans, and this is in Fort Worth, and it's got a whole litany of things, and I'll read them again in case you missed it. There doesn't need to be a medical or mental health diagnosis involved. If a male student says he's a girl, then he's a girl, and vice versa. Schools are instructed to keep the student's asserted gender identity hidden from the parents unless authorized to share that information with them. What the hell is up with that? School personnel are to consider themselves to be allies of a student undergoing gender transitioning. It's like you're putting your children into a mill and they're grinding them up, chewing them up, and spitting them out into a different person that you put them in there. You know, here's another thing, too. I used to be an idealist. You got a pessimist, and I wrote an opinion piece on this. There's people who are optimists, pessimists, realists, idealists. I used to be an idealist. Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet, right, Jonathan? Government's here to help you. So on and so forth, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody really means to do good. I can't picture somebody else doing harm to somebody else. That ain't the way it is. Nowadays, I watch torture videos. I've been watching them. I've watched people shooting other people. I look at anything that the human element can do to another human, and I say, how does a human being do that to another human being? And what we're doing to children is disgusting. It's disgusting. It's vile. How can you let your children go into this machine to get ground up, chewed up, and spit out into something that you don't want them to be unless you're one of them too? And I'll tell you what, if you are one of them, I hold low regard for you. Low regard. Leave your children alone. If you got a comment on that, if you want to make a statement, give me a call. 866-89-LOGIC, 866-895-6442. Stream us live at logicnation.us. And this isn't shock jock treatment. This is me personally telling you what I think. Stop jacking with your children. Give us a call. All right. I'm all over the place. Help me out, guys.
It's first world problems, man. That's all. It's the easiest way to see it. I don't think, I honestly believe most people do not pay attention to what's going on with their kids. They like to think they do. They like to think they're good parents because they give their kids a nice place to live, good clothes. They give them an Xbox. They got a TV in their room and a cell phone. But most parents are just complacent, and it's a neglect. It is a form of neglect, and they don't care as long as they're not being bothered by it, and they can go live their lives, and they can go out and do what they want to do and hang out with their friends and watch football on Sundays or do this or do that or go play golf or whatever. They don't worry about it. Their kids will take care. It's like, 30, 40 years ago, kids were a part of your life, and you taught them things and you did things with them and all that, and nowadays, like you mentioned before, doing things with your kids. I remember coming home almost every day from school, waiting for Dad to get home, getting my homework done, waiting for Dad to get home. We'd set up we had these old cushions, float cushions that we had in our boat, and we would set one up in the front yard, and I would sit on the other side, and he'd be on one side, and I'd pitch the ball to him about 50 to 100 times, almost every night.
How often do you see that now?
You don't see that anymore. I remember growing up in a neighborhood in Arlington for a while, and we knew everybody on the neighborhood, and we played outside all the time, and now you drive through any neighborhood now, and if you see kids outside doing something, it's a miracle. It's an absolute miracle. And people don't know their neighbors. It used to be we'd walk out, and the neighbors would be going out at the same time. And
but I tell you what, Bill, I almost don't want to know my neighbors anymore.
But nobody knows their neighbors anymore. Period. They don't. It's like, oh God, don't make eye contact. And it's that way with your kids almost to a certain, and people don't care. As long as they go to school and nobody's calling them saying, hey, little Johnny's screwed up, they don't care.
Well,
they don't care at all.
The school is taking advantage of this particular AWOL parenting by indoctrinating your kids.
Are they taking advantage of it, Susan, or are they just scared to death of a lawsuit? I think that's what it is. They're scared to death of a lawsuit.
I think there's some liberal agenda in there, too. I don't think it's just a lawsuit thing.
They're institutionalized.
All right, I got to take a break. Exactly. We'll see you on the other side.
Here at the Logic Nation, we often encourage you to be logical. Now, I've got 2 more great words to live by. Get supplied. With Studio L as a center point, Smith Supply will provide you with everything to clean anything and deliver it on time within 150 miles. That means we can deliver cleaning supplies to any facility, any business, including hotels and motels, even industries and factories, anywhere in the Killeen, Temple, Fort Hood Metro, Waco, and Austin. No matter where you are, we can ship to your order. We also provide janitorial services and building maintenance in some areas, and our Temple showroom and our online catalog are open to the public. We're here to save you money and get your supplies to you on time, every time. So, get supplied. Since 1961, we're Smith Supply, 254-773-3592, and online at smithsupply.com.
Quick Wrench Automotive, your one-stop auto shop, family owned and operated at 1402 North 3rd Street in Temple. Why go to another dealer? Quick Wrench Automotive, a full-service preventive maintenance and automotive repair center, offers a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty on most repairs nationwide, which also includes complimentary roadside assistance. Quick Wrench also offers the best price for oil changes around at $17.95 plus tax, which includes 5 quarts of oil, new oil filter, washer fluid, and complimentary 23-point inspection. Other great deals are available on our Facebook page as well as our website, quickwrenchautomotive.com. Give us a call Monday through Friday at 254-935-2145 to speak with an ASE certified technician. Quick Wrench Automotive, your one-stop shop for all your automotive needs.
Need to sell your house? Most agents will put a sign in the ground, post it, and pray. My name is Ryan Smith of the Ryan Smith Home Selling Team and Keller Williams Realty. My business is based on getting top dollar for my clients. I believe in that so much that I will put my money where my mouth is. I will guarantee to sell your house in 90 days or less, or I'll sell it for free. I've developed an exclusive marketing system proven to get you up to 18% more money. If you want to know how I do it, I'll send you a copy of my marketing plan for free. 254-213-5335. Using my system, I recently sold a house for David and Janice in Temple's Bentwood subdivision for more than they even thought their house was worth. My system gets full price offers, multiple offers, and bidding wars. That means you make the most money. Don't take chances with your equity. No obligation. There's no commitments. You're not happy? I'll let you out of the program. There's literally no reason not to call us. 254-213-5335. That's 254-213-5335. We are the Ryan Smith Home Selling Team. Call us today and start packing tomorrow.
And welcome back, everybody, to Logic Nation, November 1st, 2019. Real quick, important announcements. We've got the early voting ending today, so make sure you vote. You miss it, voting's on Tuesday, November 5th. It's important that you vote. And then also Sunday is the time change. It's fall back 1 hour, go back 1 hour. Otherwise, you'll end up at church early, right?
Yeah, a couple hours early. You get a lot done 2 hours before church. I'm the church clerk, so there's lots of paperwork to get done.
We were talking about children on the hour before, and I wanted to relay a story of me and my son, Dylan. I've given my sons, Garrett and Dylan, the explanation that, look, you are poured cement in a mold. I am your mold. I'm your parent. The cement is being poured into the mold, and I'm there to guide you and direct you to the best of my ability, because at the age of 18 in the state of Texas or many other places is when the cement, the concrete, the foundation hardens. It's my job to make sure the piers are in place, the rebar's been tied right, the plumbing's been put in place, everything is set so that when that foundation hardens up, you, my sons, can build a one-story building, or you can build a skyscraper on that foundation because it's rock solid. It's my duty to get your foundation rock solid. It's your decision as to how high the building goes. And my son, when he turned 18, he said, Dad, can I go do this? I go, what are you asking me for? You're 18 now. I can't protect you anymore. You're on your own. He looked at me and go, wow, okay. And I looked at that and I go, that's it, man. That's it. I did my job. I'm done. I love you and support you, but I'm done. You got to lay the foundation up front. You got to let the concrete set. And if you don't do it right, it's going to be unlevel. It's going to be weak. It won't be able to hold a solid structure. So you need to set it right. There you go. That's my thought process and analogy when it comes to child rearing. All right.
That's pretty solid. I mean, I agree. You know.
I do too.
I've got 3 adult children, and they've all kind of gone in different directions. And but you know, they're all solid. They all, so to speak, they're off the payroll. You know, and they take care of themselves, and they've done a good job, and they've all 3 made good lives for themselves. But you know, I remember when they were growing up, and a lot of people, family, would say, "You're too rough on those kids. You're too rough on those
I've
kids."
been
And
told
I thought,
that too myself.
Oh, gee, and look at how they came out.
and I always thought, you know,
Yeah, I have a great son.
I'm no rougher, I'm no stricter than my parents. You know, especially my dad than my parents were. You know, it's just that
proof's in the pudding, man.
You know, other people that are my age, our age, weren't and didn't agree with it. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of them have a lot of trouble with their kids nowadays.
I never, ever, ever had anybody hesitate or say no to taking care of my kids.
Yeah.
Because they knew they were disciplined, well-trained, courteous, and respectful.
And they knew, probably just like mine did, you know, you get in trouble at school, you can get in trouble at home too.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
You thought school was bad.
Yeah, wait till you get home, you know.
Hey, listen, kid, you're a representation of me. Don't make me look bad.
I remember coming out of church many times on Sundays, and not many times. I don't want to say many because they were good kids, but every now and then, occasionally, they'd have that brain buster because, you know, I was pretty good with that arm behind the pew and reach up and, you know, catch them with that one finger right in the middle of the forehead, and they'd come out and they'd have that little red mark right square in the middle of their forehead. And
that's child abuse, man.
And our pastor would look at him and say, "Yeah, acting up a little bit this Sunday, huh?" You know, so, but yeah.
All right, let me shift gears a little bit. You know, I'm a gun instructor. I'm a trainer for self-defense, protection, specifically on women and children. That's my thing. I just like women to be safe, but you got to do something about it too, okay? You can't just sit there waiting for somebody else to do it. This is one thing. I get couples come in, well, you know, he has the gun. He'll protect me. And I go, bam, he's dead. Now what? Uh-oh, what do you do? So let's read a few stories, self-defense here, have a little fun. And I got a minute here to do it. I'll do one story real quick. This is from the American Rifleman's Armed Citizens column, December 2018. First story is this. Burglars at a pawn shop in Detroit suburb found out that the closed store isn't always an easy pickings. The would-be thieves drove a pickup truck through the glass storefront early in one morning, only to find that the armed employee was sleeping inside. After the truck crashed through the windows, one suspect started looting the store. The worker emerged and fired twice, sending the crooks scurrying off in their truck. My question in here, what do you think my main question is?
Why didn't he shoot them?
Why the heck was he sleeping in the store in the first place?
Oh.
Did he get kicked out? Did he piss off his wife? I don't know. But anyway, there he was. He pulled it out. He pulled his firearm out and stopped the situation from happening. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. I got a couple other interesting ones here. We'll read them real quick.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
I heard on the news about that 5-year-old who found his uncle's gun. The kid didn't know it was loaded.
I heard on the news about that 14-year-old girl who was bullied online for like a year. She couldn't take it anymore, so she got her dad's gun from his nightstand.
I heard on the news about that guy who broke into someone's house, stole a gun from the hall closet.
He accidentally shot his cousin in the head.
She killed herself.
And later, killed the owner of the store he was trying to rob.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, at-risk teens, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you to store your firearms safely. Remember, always lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
And welcome back, everybody, to Logic Nation. Today is November 1st, 2019. These announcements are important. Today is the last day for early voting, so make sure you get out there and vote. If you fail to vote today, Tuesday, November 5th, will be Election Day. You need to vote then. And don't forget that the time changes on Sunday, probably wee hours in the morning. You're going to fall back, 2 o'clock in the morning. You're going to lose an hour of sleep, right? Or gain an hour of sleep.
Fall back.
Fall back.
Yeah,
so
you're
you
gonna
gain an hour of sleep. That's right. Okay, what I've got here, I've got a few more stories of self-defense, things to learn, what to do and what not to do in these situations. These are very important. Let me tell you why. And Susan, you can back me up on this. When you go to a shooting range, let's go back even further. Okay, you feel like you're a responsible citizen and you're deserving of a firearm, which absolutely you are. And you buy the firearm, and because you bought the firearm, you feel that your security situation is resolved. Okay? Something happens, somebody breaks in because you failed to train and learn what happens when your adrenaline pumps through your body and how your focus can get lost very quickly on an emergency situation. You'll find that your ability to utilize the firearm that you actually bought for your protection is almost becoming worthless because you can't handle it because you're so freaked out. Okay? When you go to a shooting range and you go shoot at a piece of paper, you're in a relaxed environment. You're picking up your firearm and you're shooting on a piece of paper that's anywhere from 7 to 10, 15, 25 feet away. And if you screw up, you pull the target back in, you mark the hole, you try it again, you clear the malfunction, la-di-da-di-da-di-da, okay? And that's fine if you're doing it for recreational. But if your purpose is for self-protection and you don't take the advanced training, what it takes to understand what adrenaline does to your system, you're going to be in for a big freaking surprise. God forbid if you ever have to use it. So
I have some additions to add to that. I took the CHL class because I wanted to learn how to handle the gun safely and also teach my young son about firearms in a safe, and I wanted to teach him the safety aspects of the firearm so he would know. But safety is a huge part of the thing. It's a tool that you learn safely.
But now, Susan, you've taken not only the license to carry, you've taken some of my training and you've done the competition. When you look and reflect back on the training you got from an LTC course, a state mandated course that has to do certain things within a 4.5 hour to 5.5 hour time frame, it's a joke.
Well, yeah, you don't learn how to use the weapon, safely there. You pass it. You do learn a lot of laws and legal
And
things
safety aspects. But when it comes to the adrenaline rush, there's no way. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be quite frank and honest with you. The license to carry class is a joke. It's ridiculous. It's worthless. It's
just punching a ticket.
It's a punching a
That's
ticket.
all
It's
it
a
is.
waste of your money. It's a waste of your time. I did it when it was somewhat relevant because I had 10 hours to do it. Then they dropped it down to 4.5 technical class hours with 1 hour as a shooting to shoot. So I've got to cram in 4.5 hours, what I used to do in 10 hours plus. And you're going to be signing affidavits that you understand the laws, blah, blah, blah. And you don't. So I try to do dramatic things to make it stick in your head a little bit more. But what you need to do is advanced training, because I'm telling you, get off your high horse and listen to me for a second. When it hits the fan, you're going to freak out. And if you're not trained and understand what you're doing, you're going to lose. And if you don't lose, it's by the grace of God that you won. Okay? So when I read these stories here, it kind of shows us what happens in contrary to shooting at a piece of paper that's stationary and actually having live people trying to assault you, aggress you, kidnap you, sexually assault you, hurt you, shoot you, kill you, whatever it is. Okay? Let's go to story number 2. Smith & Wesson spoke here. That's what a sign at a Utah home says. But that didn't serve as enough of a warning to stop a bad guy from kicking down the door and trying to take advantage of an elderly resident, which goes to the people who have signs in their stores, 30-06 and 30-07. If you have a gun, you can't come in here. Well, they had a sign, Smith & Wesson spoke here, and the person broke in anyway. Do you honestly think that a sign, a 30-06 or 30-07 sign is going to keep a bad guy out? If you do, you're on a different planet, okay? I'll continue on with the story. The disadvantage attributed to their age was offset by the fact that they had a firearm and knew how to use it. One of the residents shot the suspect a couple of times, but even that wasn't enough to make him cooperate with the police, who arrived after the entry. The perpetrator stripped and confronted the officers. In other words, he's in a nutcase. He's high on drugs, probably. Now I got John on the line. We're going to get back to him when we come back from the break. And we'll talk to John about concealed carry. See you on the other side.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Look, no one likes an awkward silence, but it can do a lot of good. So seize the awkward.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
When you want to talk, I'm here.
Reach out to a friend who might be struggling with their mental health. It doesn't matter how you ask. For more information, visit seizetheawkward.org.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody, to Logic Nation. Today is November 1st, 2019. Can you believe the year is almost over? It's November 1st. Thanksgiving will be right around the corner.
It's almost a new decade. We're almost into the third decade of the millennium.
That's right. I remember when they were showing the millennium, they had this guy in Hawaii in one of these outrigger canoes, and he's just paddling out there, and then he threw a wreath into the water, and I'm thinking, that's great news. And here we are, 2 decades later?
Yeah.
And we're still alive, we're still here, we're still kicking. Ain't nothing going to change until the good Lord takes us away, all right, when he lifts us up. Now, I got John on the line. He's been waiting for about 10 minutes. Let me get him on the line pretty quick here. And I'll tell you what, John, stand by. Let me get rid of this music first. Let me give us some announcements. November 5th is Election Day, but we still have early voting today. Make sure you get out there and do your vote. The time change happens on Sunday. Make sure you set your clocks back. Remember, you fall backwards, fall. You spring forward in the spring, but it's fall, so we're going back an hour. You get an extra hour of sleep.
Some other dates, if you're interested in running for office, or have you ever thought about it, contact your county chairman, because filing date to run for a county office in the 2020 election, or state office or any office, the filing period starts November the 9th and runs through December the 9th.
Bill, you should run for office.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying.
I have to run for county chairman, Go always say, if anybody wants to run against me, come on by. I'll put signs up for you,
If you want to be on the show, give us a call, 866-89-LOGIC, 866-895-6442. Stream us live at logicnation.us. Check out the Facebook at Logic Nation Radio. Tell me what you think about the video. Like it, share it. Also, YouTube at youtube.com/Logic Nation Radio. John, stand by. I want to get you on the air here. Appreciate your patience. And I'm curious to see what you got to say. So what do you got to say, John?
Hey, yes, sir. It was reported this morning, that Oklahomans can now carry. I guess they call it constitutional carry, where they don't have to
get a license.
Have a license to carry. The only thing is that I guess that also includes concealed and open. I'm not sure about that part, but they're allowed to carry. And the only thing they have to do is if the police, I guess if they're concealed and the police say, are you carrying now, they have to render or at least show that they are. They have to be truthful about it. And that's it. And I'm wondering, what the heck's wrong with our state? We used to be the leader of the rugged individualists in the United States, right? And now we're getting beat up and surpassed by Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri, putting a whoop ass on us,
John,
I don't understand that at all.
That's a good question. Let me stand by. Don't get off the line yet. But let me tell you who I am and what I do and what I think. I love my country. I'm a constitutionalist. And I'd be a hypocrite to say if a constitutional bill came out where you can carry guns, I would oppose it, because I would not. But I'm a licensed to carry instructor. I've made much of my revenue off of that service because that's the way the state has it at the moment. And so I'm utilizing it and sharing my skills with it. But if they sign something tomorrow that said it would be constitutional carry, I say, okay, all right, go for it. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say I'm in it for the buck. My only challenge is in the last 20 years, there has been a significant downgrade of understanding of weapons usage, how to use it safely, blah, 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 blah. So that's my concern. So I would say although I would approve and agree and support constitutional carry, I would also support and emphasize the First Amendment. And that would be, you going to constitutionally carry? Well, you better learn how to use it. You better get some training. What do you think on that, John?
Well, I agree with you. I don't ever feel the need to carry myself, but I have no problem with you or any other law-abiding citizen carrying because, constitutionally, because guess what? The bad guys are carrying constitutionally, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right.
That's right.
So, and we're not changing that no matter how many laws we pass, right? I've been surrounded by a lot of bad guys with guns, all right? So, but, so I've learned to live with that, right? Also, I've had to carry loaded weapons for long periods of time. And, it's more of a burden than it is a blessing in a lot of ways. But anyway, I feel that you all, as Americans, have the right to do that. And I'm not going to stand in your way. No, you can't. No, who the hell am I to say that?
Well, John, I'll tell you what. Let me ask you something
There's a
here.
big piece of paper that we give our lives for that says you can.
John, hold on a second. Bill's here. He probably can support me with some information. We let's see, how can I get this straight? Constitutionally, we should have the right to bear arms, and we do. But when you carry concealed, that was where you needed special licensing. If you wanted to carry a concealed weapon, you needed to have a special license because normally it would be you carry out in the open.
Okay.
But, okay, I guess that's okay. But Bill, explain to us how it falls into the state right as to how the state will determine how you can carry, whether you can carry, because it does fall upon the states when it's outside of the realm of the federal government. Did I make that clear?
Yeah. I mean, essentially the states can make some things more restrictive and some things they can't make more restrictive.
But that's within the confines of what the Constitution allows them to do. So we can't
argue the Constitution says that the federal government, I mean, remember, people think, when they think about the Bill of Rights, they think it's what we can do. And what the Bill of Rights essentially does is limit the government as far as what they can do to us. And they cannot infringe upon our rights to own weapons. But how we can carry them is what can be regulated.
See, now that's the thing, John, what I was talking about. So if we're trying to be constitutionalists, we have to not be hypocrites. We have to say, okay, we can own the weapons, but because the way it's been written, it says how we can carry it. Now it's up to us in the state to persuade those who are able to make that vote to go the way we want it to go. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's like somebody asked me about bump stocks the other day and how they can say we can't use bump stocks or you can't own a bump stock. Well, a bump stock is not a firearm.
Right.
It's an addition to that firearm, and so that's where the difference.
Meaning to the word or to the phrase Star Wars, right?
Clarify.
Star Wars, stars on the Star Spangled Banner, right? Some stars are better than others.
Well, I have a question. Can they take away the ammunition?
Well, remember, for years and years, hollow point ammunition was illegal. That's why when you look at the Kennedy assassination, somebody had a hollow point bullet. That's what blew up the president's head. But back in the 60s, hollow point ammunition was illegal. It was only allowed for police and the military.
Well, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Yeah, that opens up a whole nother Pandora's box of conspiracy.
Sure do. But, like the only one that's allowed to say there's a conspiracy is Hillary. So step away from there.
All right, John. John on line number 1, who I'm speaking to now. Thank you for the call, John. On line
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too, John. On line number 2, Nolanville, stand by. We'll get you on the other side of the break. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll hit it hard. See you on the other side.
Divorce attorney Ed Laughlin.
Is your marriage on the rocks? Have you been wanting to get a divorce but just haven't found an attorney that you can afford? Well, your search for an affordable attorney is finally over. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and I've been helping Texans get fast, inexpensive, hassle-free divorces for 25 years. I offer reasonable fees and always allow my clients to pay out their fees in payments that they can afford. Call me today at 773-8399 or toll-free 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment to get started. The first visit is always free.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed Laughlin today at 1-800-492-2589 or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589 or online at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589. Let Ed help you with all your legal needs. You'll feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad in Names and Numbers.
Aaron's Gun Shop and High Cap Adventures. If you've decided to carry a handgun for self-defense, you better know what you're doing. If you don't, you better learn fast. Not only fast, but thoroughly. Aaron's Gun Shop and High Cap Adventures fills the void between a Johnny wannabe and a person who has been properly trained in the proper handling and use of a firearm. Call me, Matt Betros, at 254-697-4721 or email me at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com and set up a class or seminar to get you started on the road to proficiency with a firearm for self-defense. Go to our website, aaronsgunshop.com, and review the High Cap Adventures page. We have seminars to cover most forms of firearms training. Call 254-697-4721 or email me at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com to get more information on how to get started with your training. The time for games is over. Reality starts now. aaronsgunshop.com.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
or if that resume was from someone who
worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone.
Growing up where I did, a lot of things could have gotten in the way of my goals. But I learned to push through, and that's what I bring to work every day.
So maybe it's time we look beyond the resume and look to Grads of Life. Discover new ways to develop great talent that are so much more than what's on paper at gradsoflife.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody, to Logic Nation. November 1st, 2019. Matt, your host here. I got Bill Whitmire, Republican Chair of Milam County. I got Susan Sturl, pusher of paint, poet of photography, rockette of rock and roll. We're having a good time. I got John on line 2 here. Stand by, John. And you're probably all thinking, you should be talking about impeachment. Well, I got a big yawn over impeachment because I know what the deal is.
It's really not much. We encapsulated it this morning, and you could just beat it to death if you want to. Right?
I'll do it real quick for you. They don't like Trump. They're doing whatever they can to impeach him. They finally made a vote. They're going to try and do it. They're probably going to get it. And the Senate's going to say no. And we're going to have this division, and we're going to get Trump elected in 2020.
And the debt ceiling is going to go up 2 or 3 more times in the interim.
How much do you want to reiterate that? Let's get John on line number 1. John, it's good to have you listening, John, and I can't thank you enough for calling. What's on your mind, buddy?
No problem, Matt. Hey, I just want to let you know I'm out there in the shop at Dark 30 every morning starting work, and I don't always get to hear everything you're talking about on the show, but I do listen to you every day. And I just want to say thanks for putting out that early voting message. Completely forgot about it. So I
well, John, I got to be honest with you, John. There's a lot of other people with much higher passion than I do when it comes to promoting that particular thing. So I don't want to take the credit. I want to give the credit to the Raymonds or the Rayfords and all the other people who keep reminding me. Susan here keeps reminding me to post it here. So thank them too as well. But good. Go out there and vote. Absolutely.
Yeah, went down here. It took less than 4 minutes to vote. I have to vote over here at the Harker Heights Recreation Center. And just while I've been on hold, I've counted 11 people coming in to vote, and they look like mostly veterans. They all got their veterans caps on. But I went in there to vote, and I had my MAGA cap on. And the little old lady that was helping you with the new system run you through everything on how to use it and all that. When she was finished, she's only like 5'1", so I had to bend down real low to hear what she was saying. But she just whispered, "I like your cap." And, I gave her a thumbs up, and I put that early voting sticker on it and headed out. But there's a steady flow of people coming in to vote, but you probably need to keep putting it out, though, just to remind everybody.
Absolutely.
I'm usually the first in there to vote early, and I completely forgot about it.
Well, great. I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad you voted. I appreciate your call. I appreciate your support. Thanks for listening, and continue to call in, okay, John?
Yeah, roger that. Later.
All right, out here. All right, everybody. I've got a couple more stories for self-defense. Let's finish that up here. Let's see, I got 2 stories left. We're talking about the what to do and what not to do in situations like these for self-defense, coming out of the American Rifleman's Armed Citizens column, December 2018 on page 10. Next story. Florida has its share of good people who carry guns, and Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd says that should serve as a fair warning to anyone with criminal intent. You have a right to protect yourself, he said. Judd publicized his views after an Uber driver shot and killed someone who had been following the car and making threats. The tailgater and his girlfriend had words at the bar earlier that evening. He left angry but stuck around outside until he saw someone he mistook for his girlfriend gets into the ride-sharing car. He followed the driver for a while and then passed the hired car and stopped blocking its way. The stalker approached the Uber, yelling threats at the driver and claiming he had a gun. The Uber driver, in fear for his life, of himself and his fare, pulled his lawfully carried gun and fired. There's a couple interesting things on this one. Always be aware of your surroundings. Other one is, if you've ever tried to draw a weapon while sitting in the driver's seat of a car, you'll notice it has its disadvantages. Now, I'm a left-handed shooter. Picture that now. My left arm is up against the door. If I've got my weapon on my left hip and I go to try to draw it, ain't going to work too well, right? So there's a couple of options for a left-handed person like myself. You can use a cross draw, or you can have one in the glove, able to draw it out real quick and have access with your right hand, but which means that you've got to be able to learn how to shoot with your right hand if you're a left-handed shooter, and vice versa if you're a right-handed shooter and shooting left-handed. Susan, we were trying that yesterday, right? It's a little bit awkward, right?
Practicing here in the studio.
And if you go to aaronsgunshop.com and go to the Facebook, on the YouTube channel, you'll go down there and scroll down and you'll see Dancing with the Gun, going from left hand to right hand to left hand, and the proper usage of and manipulation of the gun with your hands. Very important to know. So having the gun in the car isn't worth squat if you don't do some type of training, because if something happens and you got to draw it out real quick, be able to utilize it if necessary. If you're not trained, you're going to probably fumble the football. So this is a great example, a true life story as to what to do and what not to do in situations like this. That's why I read them. Last story. An armed citizen came to the aid of a Walmart shopper who was accosted by a 14-year-old. The teen threatened the woman with a knife and demanded she have sex with him. I paused for a reason. Okay, I want you to soak that in. A nearby man who was carrying stepped in to help, holding the suspect until police arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, this was December 2018. That was 1 year ago. Well within the realm of twerking, gender transitions, the whole works. You got a 14-year-old who's demanding sex while using a knife as a threatening weapon. We have gone to an extreme low. Now, would the individual have shot this person? No need to at this point, because the child didn't do anything to the point deserving to be shot, but he stopped. But just the thought of a child, 14 years old, demanding sex from a woman with threatening of a knife says a lot for how this country has gotten. It's pretty disgusting. We got a call coming in. We'll see what happens on that. Bill, can you picture your children, your daughters, right?
Yeah.
Can you picture your daughters threatening a guy with a knife saying, have sex with me?
No.
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 It just, you
No.
can't fathom it, right?
Yeah.
If my boys got set up in a situation like that, I'd take them behind the shed and I'd be like beating the crap out of them and say, here you go, law enforcement, do what you got to do.
Yeah, I don't. I'm blown away by that one. That's just how do you get to be such a bad parent that you expose your children to the thought path of even doing something like that?
Well, now, there are fantastic parents, and some children just go rogue. I mean, we got to put that into play, too. Because look at me. I got 2 beautiful kids. But what if one of them went rogue? I did the best I could, but if they go rogue, it's beyond I can't do anymore. There's only so much I can do.
I hear people make that argument quite a bit, and I just don't buy it. I mean, I think as a parent, you have an influence on your child no matter what. And I cannot, for the life of me, I've never been able to figure that out. How if you were truly and honestly a good parent, I just can't see it.
Well,
I mean,
Garrett and Dylan, based on Bill's definition, you better not screw up. Otherwise, I look like a...
No, I know the boys. You're good boys. I mean, you got great kids, but they didn't just come out like that, you know. And I hear people say that all the time. It's just like people that say, "Oh, well, I was born this way." No one's born a certain way.
I wouldn't buy that either.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is you could have children being raised. Let's say my boys, they were raised great, but they did something stupid or they just went off the rails for some reason. I did what I could do. But look, I got Raymond on the line. Let's see what he's got to say here. Raymond, I appreciate you listening. What's on your mind, buddy?
Yes, sir. Good morning to you, Mr. Bill Whitmire. Can you hear me just fine?
Yes, sir.
Listen, sir, I just wanted to apologize to you. I wish I could apologize to you in person, but on the phone, I'm apologizing to you and everybody out there listening. What I wanted to tell you, sir, that I'm sorry I didn't give you no candy last night on trick or treating, but you know better than come knocking at somebody's door at 3 o'clock in the morning dressed up like Roger Staubach, you know. So I just thought I'd just let you know that that's kind of early in the morning to be trick or treating.
That was a long way for a drink of water, Raymond.
Yeah. Well, this is an open line deal, isn't it? I didn't want him to get on.
It is open line Friday.
Hey, well, listen, I'm just messing with you. You know, if you didn't drink your coffee, maybe that might wake you up. I don't know.
Free for all Friday, Raymond, and I appreciate you reminding us of that. You doing okay?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I'm doing just fine. I'm gonna go. I'm down the road right now, and I just thought I'd just throw that in to Mr. Whitmire. But all due respect to you, sir, I respect you as a person, and you got a lot of knowledge of everything that somebody has to say to you. And you have yourself a very good day, sir. Thank you.
You too. Right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Raymond. Appreciate the call. We'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side with some more stuff.
Get the respect you deserve with the experienced, tough, trustworthy attorneys at Capolino, Dodd, Krebs, and Cameron. These attorneys get serious results for folks and their families who are unfortunately involved in a serious accident or wrongful death. Check out their qualifications at respectforyou.com, and you'll want to call them today at 254-697-4965. That's 254-697-4965.
Art Coons, the owner of A&C Firearms in Heidenhammer, Texas, is an avid gun enthusiast and enjoys helping all of his customers to find the gun that's perfect for them. With a large selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, finding the right gun becomes easy. Go to A&C Firearms, located at 5819 U.S. Highway 190 in Heidenhammer, or call them 254-983-4417. Pistols, rifles, shotguns, ammo, knives, and a whole lot more. A&C Firearms, 254-983-4417.
Roxanne Watson is on a mission.
Hello, how are you doing today?
She wants more people to register as organ, eye, and tissue donors.
Are you an organ donor? Yes, I am. Yay. My goal is to sign up the most people in the United States.
What drives her? Roxanne's own life was saved through the gift of a heart transplant, made possible by an organ donor.
I decided that day that I was going to devote myself to the cause of organ donation and signing people up and honoring my donor by doing that.
Now she's back to health, and she's a powerful force helping to save lives every day through her work. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life.
8 people can be helped with the major organs, and up to 50 people can be helped with a little bit of everything. And when you think about it that way, that you could help that many people, it's amazing. It really is.
Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What, the job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
For almost 2 centuries, Americans have enjoyed the valuable privileges of freedom. Now, freedom needs each American to dedicate himself to its preservation. We must not allow our liberties to be endangered by neglect of our duties as citizens. During this year of rededication, join with your fellow Americans in reaffirming the principles on which this country is founded and the safeguarding of those principles. Make it your business to see that federal, state, and local governments are conducted honestly. Help to maintain the good morale of your sons and daughters in the armed forces. Learn the facts about all candidates and issues. Then vote for the one you believe in. Make the most of every minute on your job. Produce as much as you can, and thus increase our military and economic strength. Work for better schools and a better community. Guard your American heritage of freedom. It needs you.
Okay, that's fine. Welcome back, everybody, to Logic Nation. Yeah. Can you picture me talking sports? Yeah, go ahead. Welcome back, everybody, to Logic Nation, November 1st, 2019. And Matt, your host here. I got Bill Whitmire, Republican Chair of Milam County, Susan Sturl, taking care of everything else. If you want to be part of the show, give us a call at 866-895-6442, 866-89-LOGIC. Stream us live at logicnation.us. Social media at Facebook at Logic Nation Radio, Instagram at Logic Nation Radio, Twitter at Logic Nation USA, and YouTube at youtube.com/Logic Nation Radio. And don't forget, does size matter? I don't know. Check out the video at Facebook at Logic Nation Radio and YouTube at youtube.com/Logic Nation Radio. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a whole bunch of articles here on different people. I'm just going to burn through them real quick here. I've got a few minutes. You can give your input on these as well, Bill, or you can give us a call, 866-89-LOGIC. First one, Bette Midler praises man who beat the out of Rand Paul. Actress and outspoken hater of President Trump says fellow leftists should be more grateful for the man who violently ambushed Senator Rand Paul while he was mowing his lawn in 2017. I do not promote violence, but she just promoted violence.
But. There's that word, but.
Rand Paul says the Kurds are being ingrates for taking their frustrations out on U.S. troops, which is a good reminder for all of us to be more grateful for the neighbor who beat the out of Rand Paul, Midler tweeted. I think it's Renee Boucher, 60, was convicted of assaulting a member of Congress and served 30 days in jail.
He's also forced to move.
But I think they redid his claim here. In September, an appeals court ordered a resentence for Boucher, saying it found no compelling justification for the well below guidelines punishment. A jury awarded the senator $580,000 in damages. Senator Paul suffered 6 broken ribs, a punctured lung, part of which was later removed, as well as subsequent bouts of pneumonia.
Yeah, he still has. I was listening to him the other day on the radio, and he said he still has. He's way, like I just said, he's way more susceptible to illnesses like bronchitis and pneumonia, and he still has issues with being out of breath at times because of that. I mean, it's
and these people get away with it. Bette Midler and the like get away with it on the media. All right, I got David on the line. He wants to talk about Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas.
Yeah, well, that's good because that's where I was going to go.
Okay, well, great. Then we're all tracking here. Let me get him on the line. Bill or David, thanks for calling. Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. Tell me what's on your mind, buddy.
Well, she's going to come out with this great plan that it's going to work. No, it's not going to work. Wall Street's already said they're going to back Trump if she comes out with this cockamamie scheme. You know, she said, "Oh, we're going to tax the 1%." Okay, isn't she part of the 1%?
I think she's like in the 2%.
Okay, but she's got more than 6 digits in her bank account.
I think she's worth about $4 million. That's what I looked. I looked that up one time.
My point is, she got more money than I do.
Yeah,
so it sounds like she's going to be paying into it too.
Well, David, they scored her plans that she's brought up so far, and she's been reluctant to talk about it during the debates. And part of the reason is when they scored it, they said to pay for everything that she wants to put into effect, it would cost above the current budgeted, the current taxes we're taking in and the current budgets. It would cost for one decade $52 trillion above the current budgeted amounts. And that comes out to about, right at, if you do the math simply, for a decade, that's $5.2 trillion a year on top of an already $3 trillion budget. So you're talking about $8 trillion, which is half the GDP. I mean, there's no way you can pay for all that.
Nope. But, I mean, I'm sure it looks good on paper. It's, just like this socialized medicine deal that the left keeps pushing,
I don't know how that can look good on paper.
I don't think it looks good on paper. I think it sounds good to people that want free stuff, and they just want free stuff.
Well, they base it off of Scandinavia and Denmark and that area over there. But the thing to remember is that their hospitals, their medical system is already socialized. It's run by the government for the most part. And here, our hospitals are privately owned. So in order to make that even come close to working, you would have to socialize every hospital. You would have to. And for folks that don't realize what that means a nurse in America averages a $60,000 to $70,000 salary. In those countries, a nurse makes about $30,000 to $33,000 a year. So you're talking about significantly changing how you do business overall. And the folks that are behind, the medical industry to a large extent is behind this. They are hand in hand with this. But what they haven't realized yet is that it will significantly change.
But what's the cost of living for a person who's making $30,000 over there as compared to somebody who's making $70,000 to $80,000 over here? I mean, the cost of living.
They live so much more simply over there than what we do here. You're talking about, like we talked about earlier. Everybody, people have 4 or 5 TVs in a house. Well, there, one TV in a house. You don't live the same way you do here over there, and it's going to change. It'll change how everybody lives, not just to be able to pay for it, because you can't pay for it, but to make it work, you're going to have to change everybody's lifestyle, and it's just not something that's going to work in America.
How about that, huh?
Elizabeth Warren's worth $12 million.
$12 million. Well, she's living a good, comfortable lifestyle.
Not
yeah,
bad.
She has 2 homes.
Not bad for her and her husband, who are both academics.
Most of them are held in.
I just think if she was to get into office, she'd probably be worth $400 million, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she will be
in the higher
a whole lot
echelons.
more rich
Yeah,
if she
there you
becomes
go.
president.
All right, we'll take a break. Come back on the other side. Talk a little bit more about whatever.
divorce attorney Ed Laughlin.
Is your marriage on the rocks? Have you been wanting to get a divorce but just haven't found an attorney that you can afford? Well, your search for an affordable attorney is finally over. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and I've been helping Texans get fast, inexpensive, hassle-free divorces for 25 years. I offer reasonable fees and always allow my clients to pay out their fees in payments that they can afford. Call me today at 773-8399 or toll-free 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment to get started. The first visit is always free.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed Laughlin today at 1-800-492-2589 or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589 or online at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589. Let Ed help you with all your legal needs. You'll feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad in names and numbers.
Here at the Logic Nation, we often encourage you to be logical. Now, I've got two more great words to live by. Get supplied. With Studio L as a center point, Smith Supply will provide you with everything to clean anything and deliver it on time within 150 miles. That means we can deliver cleaning supplies to any facility, any business, including hotels and motels, even industries and factories, anywhere in the Killeen, Temple, Fort Hood Metro, Waco, and Austin. No matter where you are, we can ship to your order. We also provide janitorial services and building maintenance in some areas, and our Temple showroom and our online catalog are open to the public. We're here to save you money and get your supplies to you on time, every time. So, get supplied. Since 1961, we're Smith Supply, 254-773-3592, and online at smithsupply.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get face-to-face with Vis-a-Vis Galleria in their warehouse located at 3 Mesquite Avenue in Rogers, Texas. Vis-a-Vis Galleria is a boutique with new apparel and fashion jewelry and features over 20 vendors who populate 5,000 square feet of farmhouse, shabby chic, antique, and vintage furniture and home decor. There's even a booth dedicated to Iron Orchard Designs. Patricia Posvar, owner of Vis-a-Vis Galleria, opens the Galleria Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. until 5:30 and will gladly host a ladies' night out shopping spree at your request. Diana Beednell, an interior decorator and Galleria vendor, will offer complimentary design suggestions for your decorating challenges. Vis-a-Vis is a go-to destination stop. If you haven't been to Vis-a-Vis Galleria, go see what you've been missing. For more information, call Vis-a-Vis Galleria at 254-642-0005 or check them out on Facebook at Vis-a-Vis Galleria. Mention that you heard this ad and receive 15% off your boutique apparel purchase. And welcome back, everybody, to Logic Nation. We're in the last couple segments of the program here, November 1st, 2019. Don't forget to vote. Early voting ends today. Election day is on Tuesday, November 5th, next week. And don't forget to set your clocks back an hour. Fall back. Get yourself an extra hour of sleep.
Yeah.
That's always
Don't
a good
set them
thing.
forward and show up to church 2 hours early.
That's
You'll
right.
be the only one there for a while.
Let's see. If you want to be on the show, give us a call. 866-89-LOGIC, 866-895-6442. Stream us live at logicnation.us. Social media is at Facebook at Logic Nation Radio, Instagram at Logic Nation Radio, Twitter at Logic Nation USA, and YouTube at youtube.com/Logic Nation Radio. A lot of good things there. We've got a video posted up there. It's Does Size Matter? Check it out, share it, like it with everybody you can. I want to get Mike on the line. He wants to talk about America to Scandinavia. I guess a comparison on the two. So let me get Mike on here and see what he's got to say about it all. Mike, I appreciate you listening. Thanks for the call. Talk to me. What you got?
A lot of people like to try to compare Scandinavia or some of these other countries to America. And you said this best, to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to suck up to the host for a second.
Very good. Good.
When you were talking about how you train someone with a gun, you wouldn't train me the same way you would train my wife.
Correct.
Central Texans should know instinctively it takes us 8 hours to get out of Texas. It takes you 6 hours to drive all the way across Scandinavia from one end to the other. You put 2 hospitals in that country, and you can cover the entire population. You can't compare that to America.
That's a good point, man. I like that. I like you, Mike. I like you. You need to call more often.
Now, to another point, China. Why does communism work for China? Now, if you're a liberal, go to your safe space, like you do in the morning when you do your devotional. Cover your ears. Turn this down for a second. The Oriental mind is different. 4,000 years of history and experience have developed a China that accepts communism. It may not last. I hope it doesn't. But they're more accepting of it because that's who they are. Now, we're only 400-year-old country. We're not going to take that kind of garbage over here.
Amen, brother.
So, but you can't compare us. I mean, every time they talk about, oh, well, socialism worked here. Yeah, it's like when we discovered Japan, and they had 30 million people on that tiny island. And the people from London were like, my God, we have 6 million. And how do you have 30 million people on this little island? We're the same size. Because it's a different mindset. Because you can't compare the two.
Well, I think that I think the liberals are trying to change the mindset here to a sheep mindset. And some of us are not sheep. We are, exactly.
Sheepdogs.
But, I mean, I think that they're trying to change us into sheep. Absolutely.
Mike, I have put you in the top 3% of favorite callers. As long as you continue to suck up to me, I appreciate that.
I teach martial arts, and I have my whole life. So when you mentioned that the other day, it automatically clicked with me because, I'm not going to tell you the side kick is the most powerful kick in martial arts because it's not for everybody. The front kick might be your most powerful one. And then again, if you fall every time you lift your foot off the ground, I'm not going to work on kicks with you. And it's a comparison. But the thing that gets me is it takes 8 hours to drive. I drove all the way across Germany in 6 hours.
Yep.
I couldn't have even got out of Texas in 6 hours.
A lot of people haven't left their hometowns, so they can't relate to this situation. I mean, seriously, a lot of people have born and raised in the town they're lived in. They die in the town they live in. They haven't got around to see the world, so they only have a perspective of the small perspective that they have. And when they're in that small town, they get into cliques. And those cliques are combating each other. It's just, man, it's so small brain.
You'd be surprised. I mean, you'd be surprised.
I'm very fortunate to have been in the military, and I got to travel. I spent time in Jordan. I spent time in Syria. I spent time in Iraq. And because of that, I got to see a lot of different mindsets. And trying to make Iraq America was doomed to failure from the start. You might make it a democratic Iraq. Good luck. But
we have a hard time making Austin America.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And so why you would think someone that has 4,000 years of history behind them thinking differently than us, that you give them a TV and a waffle iron, that they're going to turn into Americans. That's not going to happen.
Well, heck, you could do that with the people about climate change. They're studying 150 years of records, and here we've got millennia of the way the weather changes on this planet.
I think what this radio station is doing is trying to keep the mindset of the American way and not make it change, Well, no, I'm all for it.
I'm standing at attention, saluting you.
They are trying to change our mindset.
5 seconds.
50% of us don't have to pay taxes anymore. They want free stuff.
All right, everybody, we'll be back on the other side. I appreciate the call, Mike. We'll see you on the other side.
My wife and I are spending more time on our computer. It's changing the way we live.
Mostly for the better.
Like paying our bills.
Or researching vacation spots.
But there can be a downside.
Right, like fake drugs being sold over the internet.
Because they look real and they seem like a great bargain.
And you can't always tell what's a fake.
Well, we learned the hard way.
At the emergency room.
Thousands of people are scammed into buying counterfeit drugs every day, thinking they're getting a deal. And rather than contain the active ingredient, they may contain dangerous elements like antifreeze, sawdust, or floor wax, resulting in potentially serious health risks. So never buy prescription or over-the-counter drugs online from unknown or unlicensed sources, as they are often dangerous fakes. Counterfeits hurt, but you have the power to stop them. To learn more, go to www.ncpc.org/getreal. Brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance, U.S. Department of Justice.
You wouldn't steal from a department store, would you? Shoplifting doesn't only hurt the store owners, it puts every employee's job in jeopardy. And if everyone shoplifted, it would weaken local economies to the point of unsustainability. The same principle applies to Social Security fraud. People who receive more benefits than they should or illegally get benefits by lying to Social Security aren't just making the system insecure, they're literally stealing from honest taxpayers. Anyone can report fraud anonymously. You can learn more about Social Security's relentless anti-fraud efforts at www.socialsecurity.gov/anti-fraud-facts. We aggressively investigate and pursue prosecution of those who try to cheat and steal from the system. Shoplifting and stealing from your neighbors is morally and ethically wrong. The same goes for stealing from Social Security. If you suspect someone is committing Social Security fraud, report it online at http://oig.ssa.gov/report or call the Social Security Fraud Hotline at 1-800-269-0271.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting.
Location.
In the forest near the side of the road.
No need for alarm, sir. The forest is where bears live.
But this was no ordinary bear.
No ordinary bear?
Yeah, 1 second I'm having a smoke taken in the view. Next thing I know, I am face to face with Smokey Bear.
Let me guess, Smokey had a tip for you.
He did. He must have seen me toss my cigarette on the ground. He told me never to do that because it only takes one spark to start a wildfire.
He's a smart bear. Did you know that 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans? That means 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
That's what Smokey said. I had no idea.
That's why Smokey's famous, and you're not.
Good point.
If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference, because 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at smokeybear.com. Only you can prevent wildfires.
And welcome back, everybody, to Logic Nation. And today is November 1st, 2019. A couple quick announcements. Don't forget, it's last day for early voting. And Tuesday of next week, November 5th, will be Election Day. Make sure you vote. And Sunday, set your clocks back. You're going to fall back, not forward. Get yourself an extra hour of sleep. Now, this is the part of the show here. I've got a little bit of time left. I'm going to do my opinion piece. Haven't done one in a couple of days, so I thought now's the time. And this one here, ladies and gentlemen, this one's titled, "It Can't Get No Worse." It can't get no worse. Famous last words. Ladies and gentlemen, those 5 words, "it can't get no worse," can be extremely misleading. Just when you think you're at rock bottom and you can't take another step, someone rolls by you in a wheelchair who has no legs. Just when you think the pain from a bum shoulder, bad knees, or arthritis is too much to bear, you drive by a person in an electric wheelchair paralyzed from the neck down who can't feel a thing and steers the wheelchair with his teeth. Just when you think you're wearing Coke bottle bottoms for eyeglasses, someone passes by walking with a seeing eye dog because they're blind. My heart truly wishes everyone could be 100% normal in all aspects when it comes to the human condition, but life is not fair. You and I are so-called, quote, quote, normal one day, but the next day tragedy happens and your life gets altered in a way that can be extremely difficult to live with. Woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. We've all been there because of disappointments and heartbreak, and it's okay for a bit. That's part of the human healing process. But after that bit, it's time to move on. We must remember there are those in much worse condition than we are. That's why I believe we must maximize our abilities and talents. We can do what some others can't. What a waste it would be, and what a shame if we were to live our lives only half lit. That's why when somebody tells me I'm burning the candle at both ends, I say, you're right, because it's better than being half lit. Doing things for ourselves is great too, but don't let that become obsessive. There's plenty of you and me to share with others for the common good of everyone. You and I possess that something unique and special that someone else around us did not possess, and vice versa. We are all members of the same body, both in spiritual work and here in the flesh. We're able to complete each other in many ways. So looking in the mirror and saying, woe to me, is fine and dandy for a bit. Hurry and shake it off, because within each and every one of us is a powerhouse of a person. When you're done, or when you're down, remember there is someone worse off. And when you remember that, remember the one who has given those blessings and give thanks for it. Am I preaching to you? Not really. I just wrote this while looking in the mirror. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Take it for what you can. Use it for how you want. Share it with who you need to. And that's what I think. That's how I feel. Let's do some last-minute announcements. Today is Friday, November 1st. It is 2 for a night at Aaron's Gun Shop in Cameron, an indoor shooting range, pistol calibers. Come on out. We open at 6 p.m. Love to see you there. You come in with a guest, the guest shoots for free. Or if you look at it, it's half price for both of you, okay? So come on in, check it out. Love to see you out there. Next Friday is the next round robin. And the round robin competition, if you go to aaronsgunshop.com, go to the homepage, and up there at the link, you get to see the rules for the competition. Susan will be there. I'll be there. So many others will be there. We're going to be having a great time. Great way to learn how to shoot and see your skills under a little bit of pressure. And if you win, you get yourself a nice Girsan M92 replica copycat of the Beretta M9. It's a very nice gun, by the way. November 15th is Ladies' Night. Ladies get to shoot for free that night. Range time is free. So check it out at aaronsgunshop.com. Give me a call. Give me an email at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com. And don't forget, Susan got great opportunities for a gift. Susan, real quick, tell everybody how they get a hold of you for paintings.
So, commission paintings make fantastic gifts for Christmas. They make unique and special gifts that are treasured for years to come. You can like me on Facebook, Sterl Fine Art Studio, or go to SusanSterlBlog.com to see my artwork. And, give me a call.
Sounds great. Bill, tell everybody how they get a hold of you on your Bleacher Bum Radio.
You can go to our Facebook site, Bleacher Bum Radio. We'll be starting podcasts probably right after the first of the year. And that's it, man.
All right,
Arrivederci.
I appreciate you guys very much. Thanks, Bill. Everybody else,
have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. Don't forget to vote. God bless. Keep your powder dry.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
It can begin with an email, a phone call, a flyer in the mail, or perhaps a misleading website. Loan modification scams. They come in all shapes and sizes and under different names. Loan rescue firms, counseling services, mortgage consultants, sometimes posing as a legitimate mortgage company willing to help you modify your loan and get caught up with your payments. But beware, these are highly trained con artists looking to steal your home. They often know who you are